Welcome, welcome, one and all. Man, it feels like we already did a podcast this week, Jez, doesn't it?
Sure does. It's almost as if we did do a podcast this week.
We did, didn't we? We had to make up
we sure did.
for since we didn't do a podcast last week, we did one on Monday, so it's a short week. And I was thinking, well, man, short week, gonna be a short episode because nothing's gonna happen this week. Little did we know, the atom bomb was dropped. I guess maybe we should have realized, hey, Take-Two's got their earnings call soon. Maybe it's a possibility they're going to announce that Grand Theft Auto 6 is going to get delayed. And sure enough, that's exactly what happened.
It's kind of funny because like only the other day, I was trolling Videotech, who's a big prominent Rockstar dude on Twitter. He's a good dude. I was trolling him saying GTA is going to get delayed.
Everybody knew.
Sure enough.
Everybody knew.
Yeah, I didn't know, but it was just like
they always they have their patterns with their things. They have multiple delays, and I'm not even confident it's going to even come out a holiday of next year. But we'll talk about all that when we get to it. So I want to welcome everybody in. Thank you guys for being here. The Xbox 2. This is episode 386, I think. Is Jez with the new thumbnails and Sean Labrie with all the new art on the intro screen and all this good stuff. So thank you to him. Right, it was Sean that did it, right?
Yes, Sean. Good
old Sean Labrie. Always making good stuff. But I'm your host, Randall Thor 19, the man with the million, joined by, as always, Mr. Jez Corden of Windows Central. How you doing, buddy? Still sick? Still got that sinus infection?
Yeah, man.
Working through?
Yeah. I'm still got this infection, man. It is so crazy. I've seen a specialist soon. I've had a headache all week. I've still got a headache now. So apologies if I'm slow and delirious and rambling more so than usual. But yeah, it really sucks, man. It's sort of like I got all this pressure inside of my head. So like, but like they think it's not a tumor.
It's not a tumor
because it responded.
It's not a tumor.
It's not a tumor because it seemed to respond to antibiotics. So they're thinking like, yeah, it probably is an infection, either like lymphatic or sinus or something like that. So I've got to see a specialist soon. But maybe it is a tumor, and maybe I'm absolutely thoroughly cooked. But if it is a tumor, you can get a new co-host like Gaz or Colt or
Oh yeah, is that what you want me to do? Get a new co-host?
Well, if I'm dead, I mean, what are you gonna do?
Well, I think I told you before. I mean, if
kick the bucket,
it wouldn't. If I had to get a new co-host, it would just be a new show. I don't think I would continue on with the XB2.
Oh, you mean like Joy Division and New Order and stuff?
Yeah, XB2 is me and you. If it was me and somebody else, that's a different show, right? How it goes. So
you could like use necromancy and have me as a zombie.
Sure, I suppose.
I've been playing too much Dragon Quest, man.
Is that what you've been? Is that what you've been up to? Dragon Quest.
Yeah, man. Dragon Quest remake. Oh man, so good.
Square Enix out here.
So good.
Did you see all the Square Enix news since you brought up Dragon Quest? They come out here. Yeah. They detail their multi-platform approach, right, and their slides and stuff, and all those things. Still unsure if Final Fantasy 7 Remake Part 3 will be a day one on Switch 2, Xbox. Like it will, it'll obviously be on PlayStation day one. But is it going to be everywhere day one? Right? PC, because it wasn't even PC day one. Was it PC day one or was it later on PC? It was like a year later on PC, right? Didn't they launch
Rebirth?
Like Rebirth and
wasn't Rebirth day one?
It could have been. My memories. It was either day one or was a year later. I'm not sure.
Let's ask Copilot.
I want to say it was a year later.
Did FF7 Rebirth launch day one on PC? Copilot. And no, I don't want to talk to you. Oh, fuck, man, AI is so shit. Yeah. Okay, so Copilot says no.
Okay, that's what I thought. It was like a year later, and so it's coming to Switch and Xbox 2026. I don't know if
that's true.
Well, okay, well, it may. So I'm
man,
sure.
This is the bullshit about AI.
Yes,
I can't rely on the answer.
You can't rely on it.
I can't rely on the fucking answer. Why are they investing so much money in this bullshit that I can't rely on? Ah, man.
Someone says I should just do AI Jez for the Xbox too. I mean, I guess I possibly could. Wouldn't that be funny?
Yeah.
Jez goes away and I just use AI in his honor. That'd be hilarious.
I mean, like, you can have the rights to my, my likeness. I read that some movie studios are trying to acquire the rights to actors post-mortem for AI.
Yep.
That is fucking weird, man. That is like some cyberpunk bullshit, bro.
That was one of the things that the SAG were fighting in their like recent contract stuff with the studios was a lot of protections about AI. You know? So
yeah, it's wild, man.
But the Square Enix stuff
every day.
Yeah, every day. Like, so the Square Enix stuff, they detail their multi-platform approach. I would imagine Final Fantasy, because Rebirth's coming out next year. Well, the remake part 1 is coming out January 22nd for Switch 2 and Xbox. Rebirth is also coming out, I believe, sometime in 2026. At that point, it just makes sense for part 3 to just be everywhere. Like, PC Day 1, PlayStation 5, Switch 2, Xbox. You're right. So we'll see if that happens. But they also laid off a whole bunch of people in their Western division. And then they basically said, oh, by the way, our Q&A and all our debugging stuff, we want that to be 70% AI soon. So it's like, all right, Square. It's like...
So, FF7 Rebirth did not launch day 1 on PC.
Yeah, I thought it was like a year later.
With a traditional Google search. Or Bing search, actually.
So gotta get them Xbox points, Microsoft points.
Even Bing is better than Copilot.
Yes. So how do you feel? So if you were to make a guess, that's my guess. Do you think Final Fantasy Part 3 will be just day 1 everywhere at this point? Considering Square Enix's new multi-platform approach that they've been outlining and stuff?
No.
You don't think
I don't think it will.
No?
I think like they started that development as a PlayStation exclusive, and they'll keep it. That's their development pipeline. Have they developed a multi-platform pipeline already? I don't think so. But that's cynicism.
I mean, that's what they talk about with the Dragon Age stuff.
Yeah, I mean, Dragon Quest.
Or the Dragon Quest, not Dragon Age. My bad.
Yeah, no, but Dragon Quest is like
something with the dragon.
It's a more simplistic game. You know, it's got like, it's 2.5D, potentially easier to do the port. Whereas like Final Fantasy VII's photorealistic, open world, all this extra stuff, all these extra systems. But like, again, cynicism. I don't have any evidence. But I will say, like, they did such a good job with Dragon Quest, man. It is so good as a sort of like soft kind of remake of a very, very, very old game. Like 40 years old, this game is. More than 40 years old.
Did you see that report that came out that said consumers spend way more money on remakes than they do remasters? Jez?
I did not see that.
Let me see if I could find it, because now that you're bringing that up, let's see.
I'm going to unpin Copilot from my taskbar.
There was a report. Let me see if I can find it. I forget where I saw it, but it was basically a report that said consumers spend twice as much on video game remakes than remasters. Global spending on average remake was more than twice that of average remaster.
Well, I suppose like...
So it says here that according to research, video game remakes and remasters released across 2024 and 2025 attracted 72.4 million players across Xbox, PlayStation, and Steam, with those consumers spending $1.4 billion on premium full games and microtransactions. Notably, Ampere found that across 42 titles examined, 15 remakes and 27 remasters released between January 2024 and September 2025, global spending on an average remake was more than twice that of the average remaster at 2.2 times. However, Ampere acknowledges that while the data suggests remakes can rejuvenate classic IP and attract new audiences, they require substantially higher investment in development, marketing, and time. Remasters, by contrast, offer faster turnaround and lower costs, but generally deliver less engagement.
Yeah, like Gears Reloaded, I haven't even thought about installing that. Because it's just, they've already sort of remastered it once, and it's a remaster of a remaster.
Yeah.
There's only so many times you can remaster a remaster. At least when, because Fallout 4, I think next week, is picking up Xbox Play anyway.
Yeah, November 10th. So 3 days.
Yeah. Yeah, in 3 days. And like they did that remaster-ish on Fallout 4 already. So like maybe I go back and give Fallout 4 another blast. But Fallout 4 is like this vast kind of game with so much to do and so much like I don't know stuff in it. Whereas like Gears is like hyperlinear.
Is that your official analysis?
My point is,
it's got.
My point is like it matters what games are being remastered.
Sure, absolutely. I fully agree with what they said.
I don't know why you'd bother with remastering. I don't know why you bother with remastering Gears of War when it's like it's already been remastered once, and the previous remaster is fine on modern systems, but like with other remasters like that have either they haven't had a remaster recently or they've gotten more to them. They're an RPG. They've got nostalgia attached to them to some degree, maybe. Makes far more sense to me. I don't know. But then again, I suppose with Gears, it was coming to PlayStation for the first time, so it had that going for it. But
sure, and it's probably
remasters
like low
just
cost
boring
and all that stuff. Where the Halo remake is probably more involved. They're actually building new levels, so I would imagine that probably
remasters are just boring, man. Boring as hell. Remasters.
Yeah,
are boring.
Remasters are pretty boring. I prefer the remake, so I'm not surprised that remakes typically get more people spend more money on them because they do typically cost more, but because more effort I believe is put into them than just a simple remaster. But I don't know. I just kind of thought, you bringing up Dragon Age and you playing it and being a remake versus remaster, and it clicked in my head. I was like, oh yeah, I saw this thing. Dragon Quest, whatever. Dragon Age probably never exist again.
See, Dragon Age Origins is the kind of game I would remake.
Nah, nobody would care.
No.
Nobody would care about Dragon Age. Since somehow we're on the Dragon Age topic, I figure we'll today is N7 Day, Jez. BioWare.
It is indeed.
Mass Effect. Did you see the announcements? One being that the Krogan art, Civil War art. Did you see that? The battle. Supposedly it takes place after the trilogy. It's pretty cool looking art. If you can find it on Twitter or whatever. I saw it and I was like, okay, that's pretty cool. People, I think, found it.
Civil War.
Yeah, it was like a concept art of Krogan Civil War. I don't know who the character was. It didn't seem like it was Rex, although it looked like Rex. But it definitely was a pretty cool concept.
That's Grunt. That's old.
But I thought Grunt's eyes were blue, and those eyes aren't. So maybe it's Grunt. I don't know.
Maybe their eyes turn red as they get older.
But
holy shit, man! Oh my god, how can bro? How? I don't want to do this, dude.
What?
No, fucking no. They can't do this to me again.
What are they doing?
EA, this one piece of concept art has made me hyped.
It gets you hyped, isn't it? That's why they do it, friends. Yes.
They're gonna rug pull me again.
Are they gonna rug pull you again?
Yeah, like with Dead Space, and I was like, oh yeah, Dead Space is so back, and then they rug pulled, and no Dead Space.
Yeah, but okay.
And then the Dragon Age Vanguard, it's like, oh yeah, finally Dragon Age come back. Oh god, it's terrible. And now like they shot just this piece of concept art and my love for Mass Effect. And I'm like, oh man, that looks fucking awesome. That's a cool concept. The Krogan going to Civil War again because, they can't resist. They can't resist it. That's awesome. That's lore relevant. And it's like, but no, it's EA. And EA is shit. And they're just gonna rug pull me.
Well,
and it's gonna be terrible.
Hold on, let me play devil's advocate for a second here. And I don't like to play devil's advocate for EA, right? The difference between Dragon Age Veilguard and the difference between Dead Space, what makes Mass Effect, not the same, is that Mass Effect has a TV show coming. I think that is the difference.
How does that impact anything?
Because
Cuphead had a TV show.
You're really saying this about how a TV show can impact anything? Because EA could be looking at it like Mass Effect is more valuable than the other ones.
A TV episode, bro.
Yeah, but Concord, it was also a 12-minute episode, and Concord was a failure by then. I'm saying you look at the success of TV shows and what they've done for their gaming counterparts. I mean, Fallout, Last of Us, Devil May Cry, even with the Netflix show. I mean, we've
TV
seen.
Show does not mean the game will be good.
No, I'm not saying the game will be
Halo
good.
TV show.
Look,
Halo TV show.
I'm not saying the game's going to be good. I'm saying EA could be much more interested,
more inclined
to let it continue because there is an Amazon show coming, and which they talked about in this N7 update is the Amazon Prime Mass Effect show will not be based around the original trilogy. It'll be a story, original story set after the events of the trilogy.
See, I'm not in the camp that thinks Mass Effect 5, 4, whatever, is not going to release. I think the next Mass Effect definitely releases. I'm in the camp that it's not going to be good.
I mean, that's a different story. You said, like, well, look at Dead Space and look at Dragon Age, they'll rug pull me. And it's like, well, I think there's a very good chance. I mean, we talked about it. It's like, well, will it actually go through? I think one of the reasons it probably will is because of the TV show. Because if you look at it and you look at how well like shows have done, if the Mass Effect show's a hit, well, then it's like, okay, we got something here. I don't know how long it would take before the TV show comes out and then and like the game itself. But I think now I'm starting to think that we'll actually see the game release. And I think the TV show has a lot to do with it because there's potential there that necessarily wasn't there with Dragon Age and wasn't there with Dead Space.
There's another angle to this before we do some housekeeping and stuff. But like the other angle is, I can't remember where this report came from, but I also heard this and can verify it, that the last third of Dragon Age of Valgard, which people regard as the best part of the game, was actually developed by the Mass Effect team. I
mean, I heard that too.
The Valgard team fucked up so much that EA was like, let's bring the Mass Effect team in to fix this. And apparently, the Mass Effect team rejigged the whole fucking thing, the whole last act of the game. So, and that's what they regarded as the best part of Dragon Age of Valgard, the last bit. So maybe there is hope in that too.
Yeah, it was like Dragon Age's version of Mass Effect's
Virgin.
Yeah, it was basically their version of Mass Effect Suicide Run, where it's like all cool stuff going on, like it's all pushing right to the finale. But yeah, I had heard that was the Mass Effect team too. They did also make mention during the N7 stuff that the game's still in development. So we'll have to see. I mean, maybe it's a possibility the game's so far in development, the TV show comes out before the game, and the TV show is a big disaster, and they have to cancel the show. Then at that point, maybe it's like, well, we'll cancel the game too. But I don't. How do you feel? How do you feel about the game not? It's not like a retelling of the TV show not being a retelling of the game, it being its own separate thing.
No, I think that's great.
I think that's good.
I think that's good because I already know the story of the Mass Effect, and I don't want to see another version of it. I'd rather they do something that grows the franchise, like the Fallout TV show. I think that's the way of doing it. Let true fans of the franchise, who are also great filmmakers, add to a franchise. You know, I think that's way more compelling to me. Like I've got no interest in watching the Last of Us TV show because I already know the story of the Last of Us because I played the game. Why would I want to watch a 1-to-1 remake of something I've already experienced? That's like, clearly the Last of Us TV show was for people who hadn't played the games.
Sure. You know,
which I think is harder to achieve. Whereas like if you make a good TV show based on something, you'll get fans who just want to see it grow and expand. I don't know. I just personally prefer it that way. The Fallout TV show is by far and away... Oh, actually, no. Fallout TV show and Edge Runners, to me, are like the two equally best video game adaptations in history. Except for the 1980s Mario movie.
Yeah,
I fucking love that movie.
You know,
I love that movie.
You mentioned earlier about Halo, right? And Halo's now on Netflix, and it's doing some pretty good numbers, at least according to the streaming charts.
That's crazy.
It's because Joaquin was messaging me about how Peacekeeper finally hit the top 10. The last episode of Peacekeeper finally broke in the top 10 of streaming, and he was so excited. He's like, "We did it! You know, we like the last episode was here. We broke in, and you know, HBO Max's user base isn't that big." And then I saw the list, and I was looking at it, and I saw Halo was above Peacemaker. Like Peacemaker was number 10, and Halo was like number 5 or 4. And I said to him, I was like, "Bro,
Damn.
imagine if Peacemaker was on Netflix, because you have canceled old ass Halo, crappy Halo at that, considering the reviews, outdoing Peacemaker, which is a brand new show, which was a hyped up show." And I sat there and I thought, is like, you know what? What would have happened if Halo actually debuted on a good streaming service with people like Netflix? Because it was already, it's doing decent numbers now, but I was just thinking, man, if this was a Netflix show back when it came out, there's the chance like it would have pulled, like, well, at the time maybe Witcher numbers, but Witcher's, dude, I don't know if you've seen the numbers, but Witcher has declined so drastically.
Bad. Yeah.
It's insane how much it's declined from season 1 to the new season with, you know, Liam Hemsworth. But I was just like, man, Halo, you've canceled. Like, it sometimes is what it is. You're on Netflix, people, because that's the service people have. And it's like, oh, this is here. Let me watch this now. And it's just like, man, imagine if Peacemaker was on there. Like, or these shows that are on these smaller, you know, services. Imagine if they were just on Netflix and had that access to that huge subscriber base. How much bigger some of these shows would be and stuff. So
yeah, you also got to remember, we don't even get HBO in the UK or in Europe, so I don't know if that impacts those numbers at all. But Netflix is the Mac Daddy, you know.
It is.
Everyone's got Netflix. Like, above everything else, like, I would get rid of Disney Plus, Channel 4, subscribe to Channel 4. I also subscribe to Discovery in the UK because I love reality TV shows.
You love Naked and Afraid.
Naked and Afraid, 1,000-Pound Sisters, man. What's that dating show called? I started watching.
We're watching a dating show now?
Yeah. Oh shit, man. Love Island, man.
Love Island.
You seen Love Island?
Jesus, you are like the ultimate casual, bro. Seriously.
And also,
you're watching all these reality shows. You are what's wrong with television. You say I'm wrong with gaming or whatever. I'm killing gaming by reading. You're watching the your lowest common denominator TV shows out there.
Oh man, and also Married at First Sight.
Oh my Lord. Chat, can we roast Jez? Can we roast Jez? His, you know what? Your taste in TV shows are awful. Living with the Kardashians, Naked and Afraid, all this other garbage. Bro, I don't want to hear anything about your takes. Now I'm second guessing if it's actually a good TV show because you said it's good. You don't know what's good television. You don't know what's good, bro. Awful.
Man, have you ever watched Married at First Sight?
No, I ain't watching that garbage. Get out of here.
They don't know each other and they have to get married.
They don't know each other and they gotta get married. Oh my
shit.
God, think of all the shenanigans. Yeah.
Richard M in chat said another good one. Say yes to the dress. That's fucking awesome too.
Jesus.
Where they have to choose their wedding dress, bro, and sometimes they can't get the wedding dress they want.
And you watch the schlock.
It's good, bro.
Is it you or is it your girlfriend and you don't want to make her upset?
Nah,
at least tell me that you watch it with her, because then at least I could understand. Like, well, you got to do the the boyfriend duties.
There is some of that.
There is some of it. So some of these you watch on your own.
No, I don't watch them on my own.
Okay.
I would never watch TV on my own. I get bored, man. I get bored. But you know, I enjoy watching them with my girlfriend, and or Jen. Sometimes I watch them with Jen if I go around there during the day. But bro, it's good shit, bro. You know, it's kind of funny. Reality TV did to TV what YouTube Shorts and TikTok have done to YouTube. Because basically they figured out a way to make TV shows without having to pay actors. Because that's what reality TV is, isn't it? It's like, oh, This is reality TV. They get a fee,
but that's the thing. Reality TV
they're
is
not
supposed
paid.
to be cheap. Cheap to
Yeah,
make.
it's cheap. So like YouTube Shorts,
you don't
is
have
like
to pay writers. You don't have to pay the actors.
Yeah.
All that stuff. Yeah, it's supposed to be cheap.
So like with YouTube Shorts, YouTube figured out a way to keep engagement up while paying creators less. And that's what YouTube Shorts is. And TikTok too. It's like, oh yeah, TikTok's got all these millions and millions of monthly active users. The creators don't make a dime unless they do their own sponsorship deals and unless they've got huge audiences. That's kind of like what reality TV is. It's the lowest common denominator, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like MTV has fully gone out of business in Europe now. They've shut down MTV. It's gone. It's gone, bro. TV's cooked.
Well, you know what? Let's do some housekeeping so we can continue on with the shenanigans. Welcome to the Xbox 2, everybody. Do us a big favor. Hit the like button, please. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We'd greatly appreciate it. This episode, as most of the episodes recently, are brought to you by Surfshark, right, Jez?
That's a megalodon.
Is that a shark I hear? Is it a megalodon shark?
That's a megalodon because we've got a megalodon-sized Surfshark deal for you guys this Black Friday month. Heads up, internet adventurers. Black Friday and Cyber Monday are coming in hot, and Surfshark is throwing down deals like a feeding frenzy. Rawr. From October 20th to December 1st, you can snag a 2-year Surfshark VPN and ad block plan for just $1.99 a month, plus 3 extra months tossed in like a cherry on top. That's full VPN protection and ad blocking tech for less than the price of a sad vending machine sandwich or reality TV show, as the case may be. But wait! If you want the full privacy buffet, Surfshark One is where it's at. You get VPN, antivirus, private search, real-time alerts, and alternative ID protection, all for just $2.19 a month for 2 years with 3 bonus months on top. And for all the privacy maximalists out there, Surfshark One Plus adds Incogni, their data removal tool that hunts down your personal info across the web and tells data brokers to back off.
Get out of here.
That's the whole. Yeah, they do it, bro. They do it, and they send sharks after them.
Yeah.
And the sharks actually.
Oh, absolutely.
They eat the data brokers for real. May or may not be true. That's a whole Surfshark arsenal for just $4.19 a month, plus 3 extra months. Now here's the tech flex. Surfshark runs on log-free RAM-only servers, meaning your data vanishes with every reboot, like the soft swash of an ocean current. No locks, no leftovers, and their encryption independently audited and industry-leading. You're basically surfing the web in a digital invisibility cloak. So, if you want to lock down your online life and score a killer deal, hit up surfshark.net/XB2 before December 1st. That's surfshark.net/XB2. Go get it. Surfshark. Secure your connection, block the noise, and own your digital life. Rah. Rah. Oh,
they get better all the time.
Oh man, I love doing those ad reads, man.
Mm-hmm.
I really love doing them.
And you love
it's a good product. I love Surfshark. It's a great product. They support the channel. They've been very, very good to us, and they'll be very, very good to you as well. So do check them out. I use them every day.
Yes.
Rawr.
We also have our wonderful patrons. You can sign up over at patreon.com/XB2. You did put up the question and answer thread, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's up. We got Xbox 2 Plus 1, I believe, on Tuesday, so be on the lookout for that. And we have
and also, if you subscribe to Patreon, you get an ad-free audio feed. So if you're listening now on Spotify and you're getting the ads, you will get an ad-free audio feed via Patreon on the premium tier.
There we go. And we have the shout-outs for the Xbox 2 MVPs. We got 09C Mine, Adam Bartolo, Army Dude 52C, Asa T and Madison, Battered Haddock, Briggs Country, Bright Tundra 1, Silas, Discarded Caboose, DZ Huffin, Fantasticals, Foreign Objects, Glenn, Governor Grimm, I'm Mike Zero, Inner Machine, James Moore, James Wiseau, Justin Duel, K-Trox, Laserwolf, Pat Rock, PB Broking, RS Donks, Scarcely Relevant, Sean Kramer, Shrapnel, Trickstar for Trey, Wagerman, and Wolfgang KPZ. Thank you guys so much for your continued support of me and Jez here on the Xbox 2, XB2 as we call it.
Rare.
So, yeah, where do you want to go next? We should take a look at
Super chats.
Yeah, take a look at the super chats here. Okay, so we have, let's see. We got Face 23 BKNY. Always supporting the Xbox 2 with super chats. Even though he's a PlayStation fan, he likes the show. He says, for the people who think Microsoft is going to release an OEM console or their hybrid PC console next year in time for GTA 6 release, I have a bridge to sell you, and I'm willing to bet anybody $500. How about it, Jez? Well, there you go, Jez. You might be able to win $500. Or lose $500, depending on it. So, I have seen a lot of people talking about this alongside the GTA delay news. Like, GTA is supposed to come out in May 26th. It's now coming out November 19th. I've seen people speculate that Xbox will be releasing... I've seen it both ways, Jez. Either they're going to release their first-party next-gen console in November of 2026. Me and you disagree. Well, me and you disagree with those people because I think we both think that the earliest that system, the first-party system from Xbox, will come out as 2027, holiday 2027, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there are other people who are running around with the suggestion that there would be an Xbox OEM console, basically from ROG, right? That would release holiday next year, and that would play potentially the best version of GTA, because it's all about who's got the best version of GTA. Like, a lot of people hope, especially PS5 Pro owners, are hoping that, I think that Detective Seeds rumor he posted a long time ago about the game going to be 60 frames on the Pro, they're hoping that's true, because GTA 6 is not going to be on PC day one. And everybody assumes that it's going to be 30 frames on base PS5 and the Xbox Series X and S. So if Sony were able to get a 60 frames version on the Pro, it'd be a big boon to them. It'd be a big boon to the Pro. It probably, people are going to buy Grand Theft Auto 6. It's not on last gen. So when they're thinking about where am I going to buy this thing, some people might opt for the Pro because it would play the best version of it because it's not on PC. But now people are hoping and saying that, oh, well, the Xbox OEM console that's coming out next fall will have the best version of it and it'll be 60 frames or what have you. Like, it's just like, it's coming out in the holidays, so there'll be a new thing. So Face says he's got a bet for you that, he has a bridge. So I don't know. Are you going to take him up? Because if you got any inside info, this is an easy win. $500 for you, Jez, in a year from now, essentially.
Well, I've always heard, like you, that 2027 was the landing strip for the Xbox stuff. So, and that's with the AMD chip that gives you backwards compatibility with the console. So you would need that chip in order to run Grand Theft Auto on the OEM device or Xbox's hybrid device. I think 2026 is too early for that chip. So while I do think there is a high possibility of an Xbox branded mini PC next year from someone like Asus or something, I doubt it'll be the one that runs Grand Theft Auto. It'll be more like an Xbox Ally for your desk without a screen, or an Xbox Ally for your TV without a screen. That's maybe a little bit cheaper because it doesn't have a screen or thumbsticks or all that kind of stuff. So, yeah. I do think there'll be an OEM Xbox, but it won't run Grand Theft Auto, so I don't know how that affects the bet.
Well, I mean, if you think that he's saying there's not going to be one, so and you're saying that you think there will be one, but it won't.
Yeah,
run
but it
GTA.
won't run Grand Theft Auto.
But that's not what he's saying in the bet. He's saying for people that think Microsoft is going to release an OEM console or their hybrid PC console next year in time for GTA 6 release, Ivy Bridge to Sally. Nothing about it actually running GTA 6. Just that he thinks there won't be one. And
okay, well, I think there will be one.
All right, we got a bet. $500 on the line a year from now.
That's just a bet. That's speculative. It's not a report. I've got strong informed rumors that there could be an OEM Xbox next year, but it'll be based on the Z2 platform, not the next gen Magnus chip or whatever it's supposed to be called.
If it doesn't have the chips, the AMD chips for back it won't be able to run GTA 6 because there's probably 0% likelihood that GTA 6 is a Xbox Play Anywhere game because there's no PC.
Yeah,
version.
but even if it was, yeah, it would need to be a PC version.
Well, yeah.
So unless you want to say they've got it on cloud, you can run it from the cloud.
Which
maybe.
I doubt it. I doubt like GTA 6 will be a stream your own game kind of experience where you can buy it and then stream it. Maybe they would. I don't know. Maybe they're just like, hang on, whatever.
Let's see. Is GTA there now? Because Xbox has over 2,000 stream.
Well, I mean,
games
GTA comes and goes from Xbox Game Pass. I think it's joining.
No, it's not on Game Pass, but is it in stream your own game? Let's have a look.
Well, yeah, I don't know if they've ever added it to that program.
Grand Theft Auto. So Grand Theft Auto is available as a PC version on. Yes, it is available on Stream Your Own Game.
There you go. So you can play
Grand Theft Auto
GTA
5.
Okay.
Yeah, GTA 5 is available on Stream Your Own Game on Xbox Series S and X, and it's currently, just for me, 87% off.
There you go.
So I've got a just for me deal for 87% off. So yeah, so GTA 5 is on the cloud. So I would imagine that it's probably going to be on PlayStation and Xbox's cloud as well. Maybe, oh no, not Nvidia, but it'll be on PlayStation and Xbox's cloud, I presume.
Maybe not necessarily on day one though. You never know. You never know how.
I think like Microsoft landed that on day one and was like to PC gamers, you know, play it on our cloud, our advanced cloud, which is now actually very good for 3D games. Stick it on your TV. You don't need to buy a console, and you don't need to forsake your PC either. I think that could be a smart player. Damn.
Maybe.
Damn.
We have just about the games who says, with GTA 6 getting delayed, what happens to Halo, Fable, Gears, and Forza next year? Will they get delayed? Interesting question, which we will talk about when we come upon the GTA stuff and Xbox's holiday plans for 2026. So stay tuned because we'll talk about it then.
Yeah, so we got a big section on that coming up.
Donataku, Mr. Nintendo himself, is here. Probably because Nintendo released sales figures and they were oh so good. So Don's here to brag. He says, weekly reminder that Nintendo Switch 2 domination cannot be stopped. Get down or lie down, with the big muscle emoji being like, yeah, I'm part of the team. Donataku thinks he's part of the team over there at Nintendo, right?
Is it domination when 85% of the sales went to existing users?
I mean, it's in the launch window. You'd expect a lot of the sales to be to existing users, though. Yeah, I would expect similar numbers to PlayStation and Xbox. Though, right? What?
User base is the same size, though, right?
I mean, it's already a big size. I mean, how much did the Switch sell?
I think they've got 128 million monthly active users.
It's a pretty big user base.
I mean, know what's bigger?
What's bigger?
Xbox's user base. 500 million, bro.
Sure. 300 million from whatever their mobile game is. I can't even think of the mobile game right now. King's game.
No. Candy Crush, Candy
Crush,
counts.
there you go.
This is an Xbox.
Sure.
Your mobile phone is an Xbox. Candy Crush counts. Minesweeper counts. Solitaire counts. Solitaire has like 100 million monthly active users or something.
People like Solitaire. It's a game you can play by yourself. I don't know if you've seen all the outrage about. You know who Stephen A. Smith is? Sports. No. Okay, so he last year he's a sports commentator on ESPN. He's like the biggest one. And last year during the finals, he was seen playing on his phone, playing Solitaire while the game was going on or whatever. It was this big, huge thing. Yeah. It'd be like, how are you playing Solitaire when the game's going on? You're not doing your job. Well, they released like this like Solitaire gambling app, like this company, and they like partnered with Stephen A. because they're kind of referencing that whole aspect. But like they put out like an AI commercial for it, and they have all these ESPN personalities being like, #ad, I'm going to get your high score, Steven. And it's so cringe, dude. It is like the cringest shit out there. Whatever. AI ads. Dude, even speaking about AI ads, have you seen, you probably haven't seen, but right now in the book, the book community, George
Oh,
R. R. Martin, the author of A Song of Ice and Fire, or as most people know, Game of Thrones, right? He releases these illustrated editions after a certain amount of time, and
right.
the new illustrated edition for like the last novel that he wrote finally came out, and it is chock full of AI art, bro. Like
No
people
way.
started posting
Seriously?
it, and they're like, "Why everything in it is
Dude,
AI art?"
he's suing OpenAI.
I know. So everyone thinks he had nothing to do with, like, he didn't know it was AI. Like, he may not, it could have been the publisher or whatever, but people are posting the images of the art used for this thing, and you can look at it and immediately tell, oh, it's all AI garbage. It's there's like
what are we doing here, man?
There's a
What are we
scene
doing
of a brawl in a brothel that has like a Christian cross hanging in the thing. A Christian cross in Game of Thrones in a brothel. Like, you can just look at this.
God.
Everybody's wearing blue. It just screams AI, and George is very against AI. So like fans are revolting, and nobody knows who made this decision. The art sucks too. Like, it sucks. Like, I was looking at it because I read the books when they came out. I loved the franchise. I'm disappointed that it's never been finished. And I've seen the art from the other ones, and I'm like, man, this is some really good art. I see this one, I'm like, this is dog shit. And then I don't know if you've seen the whole stuff with the Coca-Cola, the holiday ad where they used AI stuff. And all that
it looks
stuff.
so bad. And like the people who created it are out here like, oh yeah, I know I'll get hate for this, but here's what AI ad for Coca-Cola. And it's
Did
like,
you see that they made like 70,000 videos to make AI videos, and I don't know, they hired these line prompters to make the stuff, but it's still like they still had to hire like 100 people to like do all this stuff, which would be about how many people it would cost to actually shoot a video. I don't know, crazy stuff going on, but I just wanted to mention that because I saw
AI fact checking is like a rapidly like increasingly popular job.
Yeah.
And it's like, you're hiring people to fix AI. Why not just hire people to do the job in the first place? It's insane, man. It's insane.
So what were we talking about to get on this tangent? Oh, we were talking about Nintendo Switch 2, but I forgot how we got here. So Nintendo Switch 2, they released their sales figures. Over 10 million, 85% Switch 1 owners, so leaves the rest. Some good numbers. I mean, 10 million in system hasn't even been out a year yet, and it's not even the holiday season. So I think they upped their forecast from like 15 million in 1 year to 19 million. They lowered their Switch 1 forecast. So I mean, Switch 2 sound like hotcakes to the people that love Nintendo for sure. But I mean, everybody knew it was going to sell. It's more expensive, but people, there was that thought of maybe with it being more expensive in the economy the way it is, that maybe it wouldn't sell as fast. But clearly the hardcore we'll take it.
They had to make it more expensive to fund the absolutely amazing graphics in the latest Pokemon.
Oh, like, don't get Don started on Pokemon, man.
Dude, like that,
he says Nintendo's got nothing to do with it. It's a Pokemon company.
Like the photorealism that's present in the current gen Pokemon games, like it's on another level. It's on another level, bro. So like, you can't blame Nintendo for needing to make more money to deliver those kind of amazing next gen graphics that don't at all look like they were ripped straight off a PS1 with an upscaler.
An upscaler, yeah. We have Frosty who says, "Hey, Jez and Rand, 1440p is rolling out for xCloud, but not for remote play. It's still capped at 1080p, 60 FPS, it seems. Is there a reason for that? Thanks." I did not know that. I literally asked the source about this yesterday. I was like, Cloud is currently, if you've got Game Pass Ultimate, Cloud is a better experience than remote play, which makes no fucking sense. So I'm trying to find out if there's like some kind of, how they're doing it on Cloud might be something that the Series X can't handle. I don't know. Maybe it needs some new kind of hardware. Maybe they're using PC servers to deliver 1440p, which is why it's such a small subset of games right now. I honestly don't know. I'm working on getting information on that. But yeah, it's a good catch. I might write about it next week to find out more. Maybe just I'll fire off an email to PR and say, like, what's the deal with this? Because it's like, Cloud shouldn't be better than remote play.
I mean, like if I've got my console in my house wired up with Ethernet, you'd think it'd give me a better experience than going all the way to Microsoft servers.
Mm-hmm.
I do live quite like the UK probably has some of the best infrastructure for xCloud, right? Because we're oversubscribed on data centers in the UK. Like the UK is like data center heavy, and it's in a very sort of tightly knit place. And the UK is also very good fiber optic infrastructure, better than a lot of America, in fact. So like the UK is a great place for xCloud, disproportionately so. So I do take that into account when I talk about xCloud being good, because obviously if you live in, you know, the rural America, you're not going to have a particularly great xCloud experience. But one way you'd think you could offset that is to have the xCloud in your house, i.e., use your own console as a cloud server. But the bit rate's bad, bro, and the resolution's bad. So I don't know. We'll find out. I'll try and find out. Donataku says Jez can't talk about Nintendo badly without bringing up Pokemon because it's the only ammo he had.
I mean,
yeah, dude, I don't follow Nintendo.
You do only really bring up Pokemon when you want to say something bad. Pokemon their lawsuits or whatever, you know.
No, the reason is because honestly, I'm salty and bitter about Pokemon. I was a Pokemon fan who just got tired of being, nickel and dimed, essentially. I was so disappointed with like successive Pokemon games just getting worse and worse and worse, while also it being the biggest media franchise in the world. So yeah, there is some saltiness and bitterness there. But I don't really hate Nintendo. It's all jokes. Like I really like I will not buy a Nintendo system just for a couple of games though. Like, I was reading on Reddit the other day where people were like, "Yeah, I got a Nintendo Switch, but after Donkey Kong, it's just sitting there gathering dust." Because
I mean, there might come a time. That's the thing I thought. Like, there was a second there when the Switch 2 pre-orders came out, and even recently where I thought, should I get the Nintendo Switch 2? I do want to play Metroid Prime 4, right?
I want Metroid
and like
Prime 4
I wouldn't mind playing through Donkey Kong, and I mean I still have like Legend of Zelda, so it's one of those things where it's like it does have at least a couple games I want to play, but then I look at the cost it would be, and I was just like, is it really worth this? Is it really worth this? Because
a couple of games.
Because I don't know what you could say. Well, you do the same thing with PlayStation. I'm like, yeah, but PlayStation is going to put out a few games every single year that I'm going to want to play, and I don't know if Nintendo will, because I'm not really a fan of Nintendo's franchises outside of like Metroid. So I could buy that system for those two games and then not be interested in any other games Nintendo puts out for the next 7 years. Where I at least know what PlayStation, I'll spend money on this device and I'll at least get 3 games a year for 7 years that I'll be interested in, right? Like this year, I played on PlayStation, I played I can't even think what I played on PlayStation this year. As I say that, let me look real quickly what I played on PlayStation this year. Oh, I played Death Stranding 2.
Stellar Blade.
Stellar Blade was last year. I played Death Stranding 2. I played Sword of the Sea.
Ghost of Hentai.
No, I just bought Dispatch on PlayStation because I'm really looking forward to playing that because all the episodes are going to be finished next week, and it's like a Telltale-ish superhero game, and I really like those Telltale type of games. So I hear the games. I don't know. I watched the trailer and I thought it was really cool, and I was like, well, maybe I'll wait for it to come to Xbox and PC because they are talking about, we're thinking about bringing it to platforms later. But I was kind of like, well, I kind of want to play it now. So I bought it on PlayStation, and if it does come to Xbox, I'll buy it again there. So I'll check that out. Yeah. So I guess maybe this year was a down year for me for playing stuff on PlayStation. I haven't played Ghost of Yotai yet. I don't own Ghost of Yotai. I was planning on playing it relatively soon, but I am kind of addicted to something right now, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But like next year's got Wolverine and stuff like that, and also Saros, which so at least 2 games I'm really looking forward to. But that's the thing. That's the thing with me with Nintendo is I'm not sure what else they'll put out the rest of the generation that I might care about. So yeah, but I mean, 10 million. Their fans love it. They're, how much will they expand the market? I think they said, what was it, 15% new? how much does that number increase? Does that number decrease?
Hmm.
You know, if you're going to get 3 years from now, what's the number of players who didn't own a Switch 1? Is it
I was
like
like,
25%? Is it down to 10%? I don't know.
I was joking that like that extra increase is the amount of millennials that had kids in that time and now bought Switches for their kids.
Mm.
So, you know, Nintendo's like they're killing it. You know, they the way they target youngsters and then turn them into Nintendo adults, a bit like how Disney creates Disney adults. Like it's a smart play, man. It's because I think the reason it never gripped me is because Nintendo was prohibitively expensive in the UK. I don't know if it was tariffs or something like that, but Nintendo games were like £70 in the 90s. That was really expensive. And whereas like Sega stuff was just so much cheaper. So like my family was like, "You're going to be a Sega kid, and you're gonna
be
like
a
it."
Sega kid. Like, okay.
A lot of Brits were Sega kids, and I don't know. It was because Nintendo stuff was the premium shit in the UK. At least that's my perception of it.
I mean, I started off as a
All my
Nintendo
friends
kid.
were.
I started off with the Nintendo. I had like 120 games. I remember every birthday getting so excited because my grandparents would buy stuff, and Christmas. I had so many games from that, but I went from a Nintendo to a Genesis. I never owned the Super Nintendo. I've never played a Super Nintendo game. I didn't own the system because we jumped to the Genesis, and I had the Sega Genesis. I had the Sega CD. I had the Sega 32X. I had a whole bunch of games for the Genesis, and then it was like, okay, got the Saturn, got the Dreamcast, and then got the PlayStation 1, got the PS2, the Xbox, the GameCube, and then got an Xbox 360. We had a Wii here, which I barely ever used. Didn't get a PS3, and then PS4, and the Xbox One, and then the Xbox Series X and S, and the PS5. So
yeah,
I guess Switch would be somewhere in there, but yeah, Nintendo. I didn't own a 64, and I didn't own a Super Nintendo, but I had played N64 games. I never play a Super Nintendo game though.
There was Game Boys though. Like I say,
we had a Game Boy too. I mean, who didn't have a Game Boy?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like most people I knew were Sega kids at school in my region, but everyone had a Game Boy and everyone had Pokemon. So like I was just like literally a Pokemon kid with regards to Nintendo. The only time I really experienced Nintendo was when I was in hospital as a kid, and I was in hospital for a good like 3-4 months, something like that. And I was like quarantined because I was like immunocompromised, and I had a Super Nintendo as my only company, and it was the best few months of my life.
Yeah.
I had the only thing I could eat was cream. So all day I was just chilling with cream and the Super Nintendo, and I played through Metroid. I played through all Super Mario All Stars. I played Yoshi's Island, and Plock. You ever heard of Plock? Fucking hell.
Don't think so.
That game was incredibly hard. But and there's some other random games as well, but that's the only time I experienced Nintendo really. So I just never grew up with that nostalgia for it. But then like so the stuff that I have really strong nostalgia for was Pokemon, Final Fantasy, Resident Evil, Metal Gear Solid. And that's probably about it. I never really had like strong nostalgia for platforms. But I suppose like if I had been like a Nintendo kid and had like everything, like Mario and Donkey Kong, and I associated all that stuff with Nintendo, then things might have turned out differently for me. A lot of the games that I did love as a kid from Sega just don't exist anymore, man. Gunstar Heroes never became a franchise. Echo the Dolphin never really became a franchise. Streets of Rage never really became a franchise. I mean, yeah, we've still got Streets of Rage 4 and stuff like that, but like even Sonic is like the Sonic hasn't been great for decades, you know. So it's a weird universe, man, the nostalgia. But I don't begrudge Nintendo fans. I kind of envy them because I like being nostalgic about things. It's fun, right? Like, I'm so nostalgic about WoW.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to be nostalgic about more things. What are you nostalgic about, Rand? Game-wise? Because for me, it's Final Fantasy is up there, really high up there.
Yeah, I guess Final
Which is why I
Fantasy
was
has
so
some
salty the
nostalgia.
games weren't on Xbox.
But I mean, I don't know. I'm not that nostalgic when it comes to games, really. I don't know. Maybe when I don't. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like there's the Silent Hill 2 remake and the Resident Evil stuff. I mean, maybe I'm nostalgic for the Resident Evil games. But that's a hard question. I'm not really nostalgic when it comes to that. I'm more nostalgic when it comes to like maybe TV shows and books than I am gaming.
You are cooked, bro.
Well, you're the one cooked. So we have Amish AI who says we want Halo movie. Yui Bowles the director. No, we don't want that. We don't want that whatsoever.
I never watched the new Ball movie. I really should though.
I watched one of them and I forget what it was. Maybe it was House of Dead or Blood Rain or something. It was just like some of the worst stuff I've ever seen.
I just bought House of the Dead remake for Xbox because it was like $8 in the sale. Xbox has had really good sales the last few weeks. I bought a ton of like just random games because like when Condemned got delisted, and I hadn't. Condemned. Yeah. Sega delisted Condemned from Steam and Xbox, and I hadn't bought it in time.
Yep.
So now I was like paranoid.
But now you're hoping that there's a remaster coming of some kind.
I'm hoping there's a remaster, hopefully. But I'm also like
Condemned was great, bro.
But Sega delist shit all the time though, so it doesn't mean.
Yeah, they do that stuff. I really hope Condemned has a remaster. If they remastered Condemned, I'd play it again. I really like Condemned 1. Condemned 2 wasn't as good as the first one. They had like such a great franchise there, great franchise potential, and it sort of was wasted. But Condemned 1 was great, and the fact that it's delisted is like, what? Why is it delisted? Were there some licensing that expired? Are they going to sell a better version? We'll see. I don't know. We have Donataku says they gave you the most innovative Pokemon game since Black and White this year, and all y'all talk about is graphics. I guess Jez, he's directing that towards you.
Dude, how is it innovative, man? It's just Power World with extra steps. Just face it. Power World's better than Pokemon now. You just gotta admit it, bro. Admit it to yourself. Even Nintendo admits it. That's why they got all emo and started calling the lawyers in. Power World's it's just better, man. It's just better, bro.
Look at this. We got a super chat. I don't know if it's making fun of me. I think it is, but me making fun of you. David says, Rand, let me put my books about elves and magic swords and shit down to make fun of Jez's TV viewing habits. Hey now, I'll have you know that I haven't read a book about elves in a while, okay, sir? Okay?
Elves?
Yeah, elves and magic swords. Like, because everybody thinks like fantasy or epic fantasy or whatever is all just about elves and stuff.
I hate elves. I fucking hate elves. Like, World of Warcraft has become World of Elfcraft. There are so many types of elves in that game now. It's like, where are my ugly races? Where are my ogres? Where are my, like, trolls and stuff like that? It's just all elves. Everything is elves. You know that meme where it's like, oh, wait, it's all this? Always has been. That's fucking well with elves, man.
Yeah. But I am currently reading a book that has vampires in it, though. But scary, evil, murdering vampires. Not Twilight sparkling vampires, though. These are vampires you truly have to fear, you know?
Have you read Twilight?
No, I have not. I've never seen Twilight, never read it, never plan on it.
Yeah, you know what?
Don't tell me you've seen it and you love it.
I didn't hate the movies. Actually.
Oh my god. This is what I'm talking about. You see, chat? David writes a thing being like, man. Oh, you know, Randon with his elves and magic swords talking about Jez. Not only does he love Keeping Up with the Kardashians and all these crappy television shows, now he's Twilight. He's basically saying Twilight was good, y'all. I mean, I
didn't say it was good.
I
just like I watched it and I was like, you know what? I'm kind of engaged here, man.
Yeah.
It's kind of there's some deep lore in that shit, man.
Deep lore.
Like deep lore. There's like a ancient vampire society and stuff. with like the more scary vampires, and they're like, oh, these sort of like Gen Z vampires are stupid and sparkly, and the Gen Z vampires are kind of like, nah, we should be nice to the humans and be vegetarian vampires and shit. And then these like old school vampires are like more like the evil vampires like you're describing. They were kind of badass, man. And then there was this whole scene where like they're doing all Matrix shit and having this like vampire civil war. I was like, damn, Twilight's pretty good, man. It's actually all right.
Did you know that Twilight originally started as Harry Potter fan fiction?
I did know that. My girlfriend informed me of this.
Yes. Yeah.
You should watch it, bro.
No.
Well, you like fucking Taylor Swift, like Silas says in chat. You're a Swiftie.
I'm not a Swiftie. I haven't listened to her new album. You're a Swiftie, man. No. It's just that my sister would always be playing it, and some songs are good. Some but I'm not gonna come out here and be like talking about actually, like Jez is, reality TV is the best.
I just hate thinking, man. I haven't even watched Alien Earth.
I mean, you probably don't have to now because it doesn't seem like it's gonna get a second season. And if it doesn't
wasn't it so popular?
No, it never charted.
Are you serious? But everyone on this is how you know that Twitter's not real life. The way people were talking on my feeds about Alien Earth made me think it was the best TV show ever fucking made.
Well, I mean, look at it
didn't even chart.
It never even charted once, and it's a really expensive show. And Peacemaker had just as much hype behind it, and only charted at the very end. And Halo is at the top of the charts. And you see anybody talking about it? Nope. Like all that stuff, all that Twitter stuff doesn't matter. Like,
so you're telling me Twitter's not real life?
Nope, not really.
See, I've actually got a good example of Twitter not being real life. I was in a pub. I suppose it would have been a couple of years ago now, like when the Halo show had just started coming out, and it launched on Paramount Plus in the UK or wherever it's called. And I was sitting in the pub, and like everyone on Twitter was talking about how shit the Halo TV show was, but like there was a bunch of people in the table next to me. And they were like, oh man, have you seen the Halo TV show? Like, I played the game as a kid. The TV show's awesome. Like, they're all talking about how great the Halo TV show is. It was just like the complete opposite universe. It's almost like social media is just not real, bro. Mm-hmm. And that all social media gives you is either affirmations of your opinion or the extreme opposite end of your opinion to rage bait you and increase your engagement. And then in reality, people who don't use Twitter live in a completely separate universe where they only engage with their friends and have completely separate opinions on everything. It's almost as if that's the way things really are, bro.
Interesting. Very interesting. So we have Juan who says, I hate thinking, Jez Corden 2025. I knew somebody was going to say something like that. I hate thinking. Yes.
I do. I genuinely hate thinking.
You just gave some ammo to your haters. They're gonna clip that part where you're just, I hate thinking. Yeah.
Do it. I'll own that shit. I hate thinking. I'll say it again. I fucking hate thinking. I just want to lie down in a dark room with some strong alcohol and just empty my brain and watch Say Yes to the Dress, and
Twilight. You want
Love Island,
a Twilight marathon.
Twilight, fuck it, yeah. Just give me the most brain dead, vacuous bullshit, and just empty my head, man, and then just meditative, man. That's what reality TV is. It's meditative. There's no way. There's no other way. Like even like drugs, like depressants, like fucking. You could do meth and it wouldn't empty your head like fucking some of these TV shows. Oh God. J-Boy on the Run says I need therapy. Yeah, I do, but it's expensive, bro. It's expensive, man. Richard M says made in Chelsea. Now, I haven't watched that yet, but maybe I should. Maybe I should watch that.
Add another show to your collection. Why not?
Why not, man?
Why not? So, can I talk to you about my newest addiction? I'm kind of almost ashamed to admit it a little bit, although not really.
Okay,
not really.
Hit us, bro. Hit us. What's your addiction, Rand? What's your addiction?
So, I think I'm addicted to Arc Raiders.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
I was not expecting that because you were lukewarm on it last week.
I was not expecting it either. So my buddies, so we were all playing last week. The Battlefield 6 Battle Royale came out, right? And the boys were all raring to go because it's been a while since we played a Battle Royale. Like, we were done with Apex Legends, we were done with Warzone, we hadn't played PUBG in a while, and it's always difficult to get the boys on to play something because not everybody's always interested in stuff. But hey, we were all interested in Battlefield 6 Battle Royale, and we played it for a few nights. I think we played it for 3 nights, and we were having fun. Maybe it wasn't as good as Warzone or whatever back in like 2020, but we were having a good time. It was like people were like, yeah, the feeling's back, the crew's back and ready. And it was like, I was looking forward to playing it every night, right? Like, get on, play for a couple hours, because everybody's got their careers and kids and stuff to look, so it's not like it used to be 8 years ago where it's like, we're on from 8 p.m. to 2 a.m. every night playing. It's like, this time it's a little bit different, And then Arc Raiders came out. And my buddies Gopher and Magic decided to play it. And I had played the server slam with them when they did it like the week before or whatever it was, or 2 weeks before. I jumped in there with them. We played a couple games. And we were like, don't really see the big deal. Kind of boring, right? And then, so all of a sudden they pick up the full release. They start playing it. And their tune changed, did a complete 180. They're loving it. And so I got a copy, and I was like, should I play this? Am I missing out? I see everybody talking about on social media, hitting all these numbers on Steam, like 300,000 concurrents, which were higher than like the free betas and stuff. It's doing really well. Ampere Analytics, they put out their sales figures, which I look at those as kind of just been like, are these actually real? Supposedly the games, at least according to Ampere Analytics, or not Ampere, Alina Analytics, my bad. The game sold what? 2.5 million copies already. And it's like 65% PC and the rest on console. But it's like 400,000 copies on PlayStation and 300,000 copies on Xbox. So, I was like, so it's mainly doing numbers on PC. Because, there aren't really any extraction shooters on console. It's not really that popular on console. It is popular on PC, so I'm not surprised PC is where people would prefer to play that. I was a little bit like looking at it like, the Xbox and PlayStation number is a bit close considering how wide the console user base disparity is at this point, right? Like, well over 2-1 or whatever it is. So I started playing it with them. And my opinion changed, Jez. You want to know why it changed?
Why? Did you do some horrible things?
Because killing people and taking their shit is so much fun.
Oh, you one of them?
Oh, we are, bro. So it's odd because I'm sure you've seen the discourse surrounding the game, right? You have people that just want to squat up and they just want to go complete quests. And then you have people that are like, I'm here to kill people. And you have this like debate raging about should the developers implement a PvE server where if people just want to do PvE and without the threat of getting killed by other players, they can do so. Which reminds me a lot of what Sea of Thieves, a discussion around Sea of Thieves was at one point. Where people are like, why don't you have a PvE server? I don't want to deal with these. I just want to do my stuff, right? And so even if you go online now, there's tons of people talking about it and all those sort of things. And I get it because you can team up to 3, right? You can go solo. There's different maps to go into that offer different things, and maybe even like better things on different maps and whatever. Some maps we might run into more players. You can go solo. You can queue up with 2, but I don't know if you queue up with 2 if you actually are placed with only people who have 2 players, or if you might run into teams of 3, and obviously you can team up with teams of 3. And so I've done a whole bunch of both, or all 3 of them. And it is true. When you play solo, 9 times out of 10, if you see another player, they want nothing to do with you. I don't know how many times I've been playing solo, and I'll just hear, friendly, 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 and I'll turn around and there's like a dude, Or he's like, don't shoot, bro. I'm friendly. Nobody wants to fight each other in solos.
You are
right?
mean, bro.
which is fine, because in solo, if they immediately say that, it's like, oh, I'm friendly, I'll be like, okay. But then you just don't know, Jez. You're just not sure if you can trust that other person. And you thinking to yourself, he might have something I want. But then you're thinking to yourself, especially if you have good stuff, because there have been quite a few times where my pack is juicy. I got some good shit. I got some good weapons. I got some blueprints. I got some stuff. And then I'm like, but I need to get... That's where like the tension and the intenseness of it comes apart. It's not so much of like, hey, I just took a free loadout, which you can do, right? You can choose to take a free loadout and not take any of your stuff in there. But the free loadout's like, we'll give you a shitty gun. We'll give you a little bit of ammo. We'll give you a couple healing things. But you're basically at a disadvantage, really, to people that go in there with like a better weapons and all the other stuff. But, you know, you can still get the drop on people, because what the game does beautifully in regards to PvP is when somebody dies or when somebody gets knocked out, so they're not dead, they're just knocked out, and you can revive them, is when that happens, it shoots a flare up in the air that the entire map can see. So we'll be trucking along, be like, okay, let's go here, and then we'll look to our left and be like, flares out, and then we'll just be like, we're running over there. And then we'll kind of scout it out and be like, oh, look, there's a fight going on there. Oh, someone just got down because the flare went up. It's like, it's calling us home, you know? So like, as Magic would say when we're going around and stuff, and we'll hear shots fired, Magic's like, the sound of my people, let's go. You know? So it's that intenseness where you have some good shit and you want to make it out, and then you come across people that want to kill you, and then you get into these really intense firefights because something's on the line. The stuff that you picked up that you really want, and it's like, oh my god, I need to get out of here. I need to win this battle. And sometimes you do, and sometimes you don't, and you lose all that stuff, and you're like, no, but I had all this stuff. It's a different feeling than BR was. And I'm not sure which feeling's better. I just know that like when I get on, I'm raring to go. Like we're going on these maps, we're completing our quests or whatever. But realistically, we're also like, we're coming across people. We're taking them out. We're taking their loot because we need it, you know. And it kind of almost gives me those same feelings that maybe get into the final circle of originally like PUBG was. Because we're all like looking forward to playing. Like I think the maps are the map designs are cool. Like you have the PvE element of the bots. I don't know if you've seen that, like where you have all these bots that are floating around.
Yeah, I said the robots. Yeah,
and they can, you know, by themselves they're not that big of a deal. But if you're by yourself and you get surrounded by them, they can be a pain in the ass. But if you're with the team, not so much really. But you can always tell like where enemies are, because you see the bots, they have like searchlights. If like one of them's red, you know someone's over there. So it's one of the things where you always got to be on your toes. You always got to be careful of your surroundings. You always got to be looking around. You always got to be listening, because people looting makes sound. People running, their steps, you can hear them. So you'll be say you're in like a 4-story building and you're looting some stuff, finding some great stuff, but then all of a sudden you hear the pitter patter of feet, like boop 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 boop, and you're like, is that Gopher? Are you next to me? Magic, are you around? And you look and you realize that the sound is coming from a direction that they aren't in. You're like, we got people are coming, and then everyone gets like ready for battle. It's like, oh, where are they coming from? It's like, do we engage? And he's like, does anybody got good stuff? If we all do, should we get out of here? You know what I mean? And then like if you kill them, and then you're searching their stuff, I wouldn't say it necessarily takes a while to search, but you're searching them. And it's like, oh, come on, now I'm exposed, because now I'm in the menu and I'm waiting for the stuff to get revealed, because everything doesn't get revealed right away. And it's like somebody else could be coming because all of our flares were shot up. If people, that aspect of the game is very, very, very addicting. Now, I don't know how long I'll play the game for. I've played it for like 22 hours so far. I'm not even really sure what the end goal is. Like, we're just going in, getting stuff to complete quests. Selling things and you know, getting access to better weapons. And yeah, there are some times where I took a couple good weapons in and then I lost them, and it's like, ah, damn it. But then it's like, oh, I still have some good stuff, and you go into another match, and it's like you find some better stuff, or you unlock some more stuff. And I got so much like stuff now. It's like, well, I got all this other things. I can easily get better weapons, but yeah, at least for right now, I'm not saying I'll play this game for 100 hours or 200 hours, but as of right now, I can't wait to play it tonight. I can't wait till like 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock when everyone gets on, and we can play for like 3 hours, and we just roll, and we just have, some good matches, some crazy experiences, because we've had some of that stuff where like we're trying to extract, both me and Magic are down, but I made a bad play, and I was down too far away from the elevator to extract, so he had to wait for me, and our health is like bleeding out, and we both have good stuff because we both killed 2 teams of 3, so our backpacks are full, we got some cool weapons, we got some stuff we need, and he's pulling the thing to let me to call the elevator finally, and we literally both die 0.2 milliseconds before escaping. That's how, and it's just like, you're like, oh, do we make it? We got, nope, dead. And I'm like, son of a bitch. And the magic's like, I told you, Rand, I told you if you were going to get down by the leaper, get down by the elevator, but you didn't listen, and you died too far away. It's like, I could have left you behind. I should have left you behind. And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry,
It's kind of fun listening to you like be really hyped about a game again, because I feel like it's been a while. I feel like it's been a while since you've been this hyped about a game, personally. Would you say that?
No, I mean, it is super fun right now. But other games I really enjoyed this year, like Expedition 33 or Split Fiction or Shinobi.
They're all single player games.
Sure. I mean, I don't really play a lot of multiplayer stuff. You know that. I mean,
I think like multiplayer games like hit different because it's like,
or maybe it's because
you're spending time with friends as well.
So this was like when I think back of like PUBG and why that really resonated with us. Maybe it was because there was our first battle royale experience, and it was so different, and it was so fun, and it was so unique, and it gave us something that we didn't know we needed. And I played that game for like 900 hours, but eventually it wore out. I've never played an extraction shooter before. This is like my first experience with that. Just very much like how PUBG was my first experience with a battle royale game. And it does help that 2 of my friends are super into it just as much as I am. So we're always talking about like strategies and doing things, and I like the look of the map, and the shooting mechanics they aren't like necessarily like the greatest. But I mean, they are good. I wouldn't say they're, like Gears, like if you look at a third person cover shooter-ish game, I think Gears has better shooting mechanics, but I think mechanics here work just fine for, because the machines, like it's post-apocalyptic and stuff, so it's all well and good. But there's just something exhilarating about knowing that if you die, you lose your shit. And you don't think that necessarily, but when you actually have some good stuff and then you do get into a fight, it does feel different. Like it feels different when you have a bunch of stuff and you're trying to fight your way out versus you don't really have anything and you're hunting people and you're going to take their stuff. They both feel good, but they both feel sort of different in a way. And as of right now, it's still fun to do both of those. Like I said, will it be fun to do that, 100 hours from now? I don't know. Maybe we just played a whole bunch. You basically burn yourself out, and, I'm here in 2 weeks, and I tell you, I'm done with Dark Raiders. I've done all of I could. We did all this stuff, and blah, 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 and we're moving on or whatever. Because there are other games I still want to play. Like I said, I got to play Dispatch. I got to play Silk Song still. I got to play Ghost of Yotai. I got to play Metal Gear Solid Delta. And I think there's some other games too, and it's like, and I'm sitting here, I'm like, Chronos. And I'm playing, well, I beat Chronos. And it's like, I could be playing those games, but here I'm playing Arc Raiders, and I'm like, I want to play all those other games, but it's like, oh man, I kind of want to play Arc Raiders more right now. And it's weird. Part of it is for me is like the crew aspect of playing with them, but I played solo, and I've run across so many people in solo that team up and stuff. And they're like, friendly, dude, friendly. But then there are some times where I'm like, okay, I have gotten killed when someone says they're friendly because it has the proximity voice chat, which I think is really adds to the experience. And it's funny because a marathon's not going to have that. They say it's like too toxic or whatever, but it works beautifully in the game. Now, of course, Jez, we have had experiences where people do talk shit when we kill them. Like last night, me and Gopher were playing, and we didn't necessarily have good stuff at the time, but we were tracking these two players, and we were getting to a fights, and we had like a 5-minute fight. We were just kind of hanging around the corridors, refreshing our shields. We would kind of they ran away, and we chased after them. And we ended up in a situation where I was outside this building, Gopher was on the inside, and they were in this like left corner. And then I turn around and I see a team of 3 coming at us from the outside, and I'm like, Gopher, we got to bail. We got a team coming from our 6. So we turn the corner into the building. We go up the zip line to the 2nd floor, right? And we just sit there. And we're like, okay, well, maybe these people are gonna they clearly saw me. So maybe these people are going to look for us. So we're sitting by the zip line to come up. And then we hear them talking, proximity chat. I don't know. I thought I saw him somewhere. You're like, oh, let me loot this guy first. So they're talking underneath us, and we can hear him moving around. So me and Gopher are just sitting there, guns trained on the zip line. And then we hear someone using the zip line. They come up, and boom, as soon as he lands, we down him. And the second guy comes up, we down him. And their guy's like, you camping bitch motherfuckers. God damn it.
Oh,
and it's like, hey,
see,
man.
I'd love for you to have streamed that.
Yeah.
And for me to have seen it. Like, do you ever consider streaming these kind of games with your friends?
I don't even think about
like,
it.
I don't think I'd enjoy playing this, but I'd probably enjoy watching someone else play it.
Yeah, so it was fun.
I get stressed out, man.
Well, yeah, so you would be probably stressed out, especially if you had a bunch of good stuff, and you're just like, we need to get out.
Yeah, I don't
here.
like that feeling.
Yeah,
I don't like that feeling.
That's what makes it. I don't know, man. That's what makes it, man. Is that feeling, the feeling of I need to escape because I got good stuff, or the feeling of I just took your shit. I know that kind of feels evil, but it definitely like you when people talk shit, because people do talk shit. Like we killed some people, and one guy was like, because the guy came up to us, he's like, I'm friendly, and Magic is like, we're not, and we instantly killed him, right? And then the guy's like, when's the last time you guys touched a pussy? And it's like they get so upset.
Playing a video game, bro.
I know, and it's just like, well, this is the name of the game, man. Sorry. So that's why I get people's debating about the idea of PvP. Oh, we want to play only PvE, but that's part of the reason why the game is as good as it is because there's that sense of doubt that you might have. Sure, you could run into 8 people who want to team up in solos or whatever that won't shoot you, but in the back of your mind, you know, he might betray me in the end. Or maybe I have to betray him first. Like, if there was, like, none of that, I think the game would essentially run its course. Because if it was just PvE, you could do all the stuff. You wouldn't have to worry about anybody else. You could just do... I think essentially you'd run out of content, and then you'd just be like, well, I've done all this stuff, and I got nothing left. I think the PvP adds a must-have element that you can't get rid of. And the devs even said that. Like, when they originally built the game, it was going to be PvE only, and they said it was too boring. And that they didn't want to add PvE servers. So I do wonder if all the like the crybabies, about crying about it, if they eventually add it. Because Sea of Thieves was the same way for years. And then I think they eventually added PvE, right? Just PvE servers, where you didn't have to worry about other people taking your stuff. But yeah, having a great time with Arc Raiders right now. So we'll see how long that lasts.
Yeah, Xbox is King is telling me in chat, like, if I played it and enjoy it, maybe I would. I mean, it took me 10 years to get into Dark Souls because of the stress of losing my souls. It was the same kind of feeling. It's like, oh God, I don't want to lose my souls. Oh God, oh God, oh God.
Yeah.
Maybe I would get into it, but
I mean, it does have free. Sometimes, like last night, we did 5 runs in a row where we escaped. And we were coming to an extraction point, and then all of a sudden, 1 flare went off, 2 flares went off, 3 flares went off, 4 flares went off, and we're like, oh my God. So we went down there, and we killed somebody, and then I saw somebody crawling into the elevator to call it to leave, And I'm like, I'm like, where you going, son? And I killed him before he could do that. And I could just imagine, like, was probably so pissed because 5 people just died. He's like, I'm getting out of here, and he's crawling there. And then we looted all this stuff, and then we went to complete a quest for me. And then we only had like 5 minutes left in the match, and I think we escaped with 2 minutes left. But I was getting worried we weren't going to escape because there was a team kind of sitting around the exit point. But yeah,
I had some similar experiences with the Dark Zone in the Division 1 back in the day. I did have some like experience where it was quite fun. I think me and Roby played it. You remember Roby?
Yes.
I played it on Mixer and stuff. And we did have like some scenarios where it was like I'd kill someone just before they extract. But I was still like, I just kept thinking, I don't want that to happen to me. I don't want that to happen to me because you put the loot on your little pouch on your back.
Yep.
Well, it's kind of interesting. The Division kind of pioneered some of this gameplay to some degree and handed the genre to other people. It's kind of weird, isn't it?
Yeah, well, the game does offer like these things called free loadouts, so you can build your own loadout, take your stuff with you. But if you lose it, obviously you lose it all. But if you don't want to risk anything, you can take free loadouts, but it'll give you like a shitty weapon with not a lot of ammo, with 2 bandages and 1 shield recharge. So you kind of are at a disadvantage, but if you take people by surprise, not really, or you could come across people in a fight that are already hurt and are healing, and you instantly kill them and whatever. So if it's like I said, we had 5 games in a row last night where we extracted. And then Magic got on, and it was us 3, and we lost 2 games in a row, like right away. And I lost my stuff, and then we lost 2 in a row. So then we're like, free loadouts now. It's like, let's do some free loadouts. We don't lose any more of this stuff. But
fair.
Yeah. Let's see what next. That's Arc Raiders. Let's talk about Grand Theft Auto, shall we?
Yeah, GTA,
the big
news.
GTA.
Shall I pull up the press announcement?
Yeah. What did GTA have to say? What did Rockstar have to say?
Yeah, so the thing everyone expected to happen was essentially GTA would be delayed. I think nobody really thought they were going to hit when they said they were going to hit. So yeah, this was yesterday. Rockstar Games, November 6th at 9 p.m. UK time. Hi everyone, Grand Theft Auto 6 will now release on Thursday, November 19th, 2026. We're sorry for adding additional time to what we realize has been a long wait, but these extra months will allow us to finish the game with the level of polish you have come to expect and deserve. We want to thank you again for your patience and support while the wait is a little bit longer. We're incredibly excited for players to experience the sprawling state of Leonida, and a return to modern day Vice City. Sincerely, Rockstar Games. So, and then we had some comments from Strauss Zelnick, I think his name. No, Strauss
Zelnick, because he's CEO of Take-Two.
So let's just see what he had to say about it. So he actually said a lot of things yesterday.
Yeah, he said what example, Mafia beat expectations. Yes. Borderlands 4 was a bit softer than they expected. Sorry, Randy.
Yep. Yeah, but he thinks it's gonna have a long tail.
Mm-hmm.
And on GTA, he said, we've had more time to develop the title, and so we're getting closer to release. We're grateful that this is still within the same fiscal year. We're mostly grateful to Rockstar for constantly seeking perfection. We feel really good about this release date. It's in the same fiscal year. It happens to be a great release window. Naturally, we're really supportive of Rockstar's approach. Yeah, but then after hours trading, Rockstar Take-Two Interactive was down 7%. Shares closed down 17 points. So let's see what Take-Two looks like today. So yeah, Take-Two today is down 20 points, minus 8%.
So there you go.
In trading. Yeah, huge dip for them there, but they are up. They're still up year over year.
It'll be fine when the game comes out. The stock price will.
It'll bounce back.
Yeah.
But,
so did but the other bit of news.
He also blamed Sorry, he also blamed Borderlands PC optimization for the poor performance.
Yeah, there's some of that for sure. There's also a little bit of I don't know if I think it was the day before or whatever where the GTA union busting thing.
Yeah, so
That was
the
like
day
a big thing.
before, yeah. So the day before as well, Rockstar laid off, I think it was about
35
40
people. It was like
employees.
30. I think it
Yeah,
was 35.
35-ish people. Um, and what they told um, the press was that they were laid off for improper handling of company secrets, i.e., they were discussing Rockstar stuff outside of the corporate environment in a public, well, not public, a private Discord. But that information then is backed up to Discord servers, and someone at Discord could, theoretically look at that shit because Discord is not encrypted, you know. So they used that as a sort of an excuse to lay off these people who were also discussing unionizing. So, so they could be in trouble in the UK because the UK has pretty strong laws against that kind of thing. I don't know where a lot of these people were based, but Rockstar North is obviously based in Scotland, and I think they've got New York office as well, and some other offices around the world. I don't know exactly where all these people were based, but yeah, so technically they were in breach of contract. If they were discussing GTA 6 unreleased stuff outside of the managed company Slack, then they were in breach of contract. And I think if it did go to court, they could be like, well, look, here's all the evidence, I don't think they would have done it if they felt they didn't have a strong legal case, if it did become a class action kind of lawsuit thing. But it is still pretty blatantly union busting because all those people are trying to unionize around Rockstar, and clearly GTA 6 has been a very difficult journey to get here. Multiple delays, years and years in development, probably a lot of crunch, hard work, cracking of the whips and all that. So yeah, I don't know. They probably should have. Oh man, it's really tough because it's like they kind of they walked into this because presumably they were discussing things which enabled Rockstar to say they violated their contract, break an NDA. But at the same time, it's blatant union busting. So it'd be interesting to see where that goes. Jason Schreier did report that the delay of the game had nothing to do with that event.
Yeah,
And
so
that
did,
the
so did
delay
Tom
for the game
Henderson.
was so the
But
delay of the game was
it could have ramifications down the road where I have seen people talk about that where like this delay had nothing to do with the union busting stuff and the people that got laid off, but if it could affect morale, maybe
of course.
people get up whatever and like the game slips again to spring 2027 or whatever. So, but yeah, apparently it had nothing to do with this delay. But I would imagine with this, a whole bunch of publishers that had games coming in the first half of 2026, especially around May, probably breathed a huge sigh of relief, like, oh, thank God. But then a whole bunch of publishers probably are now looking at November of next year with being like, oh, what the fuck should we do?
Yeah, tearing the hair out. Yeah,
right. Because Grand Theft Auto, because I saw a Your Game article today. I don't know if you saw it, and they were like, by the time Grand Theft Auto comes out, will it be outdated? Or maybe not. It's like okay, sure. So like, if it came out in May, it'd be perfectly dated fine. But if it was delayed, 6 months, it's suddenly outdated. Like, people have been waiting forever. Like, all the memes about like, we got this before GTA 6, or like my kids.
How old is Red Dead 2?
Red Dead 2 came out in 2018, so 7 years old at this point.
Red Dead 2 is still ahead of its fucking time, man.
Yes.
Red Dead 2 blows away most modern, so-called modern open world games. Absolutely blows it away. Like Witcher 3 as well. I was playing Witcher 3. I've been playing Witcher 3 a fair bit because I've been testing cloud. And I was playing Witcher 3 and just thinking, this game, I know it's had a lot of updates. Witcher 3's had a lot of updates. But Witcher 3 is even older, and Witcher 3 blows everything away. Open world, everything. So it's that is a very, very shallow take. But this is the issue, man. Like, with all the traffic going to AI, you're going to see more of this, like, cynical takes from press. You're going to see this more kind of rage bait kind of stuff. You're going to see it more and more. Like, if it was bad before, it's only going to get worse. And, like, I feel for the writers because, like, I think Eurogamer is owned by IGN now, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Eurogamer, Ziff Davis. So Eurogamer is owned by IGN now, and obviously Ziff Davis is a publicly traded company, and they'll have a certain way of doing things. So Ziff Davis is, telling their bosses at Eurogamer, like, you've got to do this much this month, and this is how we do it, and this is how you do it, and you're going to clickbait and shit like that, or you're going to lose your job, But YouTubers do it as well. We talked about it on Monday. Look how many YouTubers are gonna go out of business when they don't have Xbox to rage at every week because they built their whole platform on that shit. So it's a big race to the bottom right now with some of that stuff. But I digress.
What does it say though about the fact that we didn't believe Rockstar would actually deliver the game when they said they were going to deliver it? Though, like, when they're like, "Oh, it's actually coming May 26th," and everybody was just like, "No, it's not. Come on, we know it's coming later in the year." Like, I thought it was going to be September.
I think, like, for me, what really triggers the sense that, oh, it's really real, it's really coming out, is like the long gameplay deep dive.
Yeah.
Because, like, when they show these trailers that are like rapid clips, it's cut from the most polished bits of the game. But when they show these sort of very transparent, deep gameplay system deep dives, and Rockstar does do those, in the past, that's when I start to believe, because I remember when with Mass Effect Andromeda actually and Starfield, like, a lot of those games were like, they had these rapid cut kind of trailers or no trailer at all, and it's just like, this is nowhere, it's nowhere near ready. Andromeda was a pretty big one that set them alarm bells off for me. That just surfaced the top of my mind as I was talking about it. So I remember we didn't get gameplay of Mass Effect Andromeda, and I was just sitting there thinking, there's something wrong with this game. But sometimes I think, like, publicly traded companies, they've really jumped the gun to sort of, because of the shareholder hype and the keeping the share price up and all that kind of shit, right? Because it's all about the quarterly. And, like, you see this more and more, like, as I get older, you see it more and more how, like, the quarterly thought process affects companies negatively. Like, you see it a lot in WWE these days. Like, because now WWE is owned by TKO and it's got a shareholder mindset. You started seeing ads on the ring and ads on the fucking ladders and the tables, and there's just this sort of end-shitification. How can we squeeze a little bit more money out of this to placate the shareholders, even if it drives people away in the long term? As long as we get to the next quarter, it'll be okay. And then if things get really bad, we can pivot and fix it later. Like, Activision did this as well. Like, they nickel and dimed World of Warcraft for years and years and years until Final Fantasy XIV started to eat its lunch. And then they're like, oh, okay, the good times are over. We've actually got to make a good game now. So World of Warcraft's had like a few years of really good cycle because of the competition, right? So This is sort of like, it's one of them, 2K's credit and Take-Two's credit. Instead of shipping the game out in a poor state, and because it would sell like crazy.
Sure would.
If they launched it in March, it would still sell like crazy, and they could fix it later, and it'd be fine. So I think it's like, it's to their credit that they're willing to make this delay.
Well, because they also know whenever it does come out,
because everyone's pissed off and disappointed now as well.
Yeah, but they were pissed off and disappointed when it got delayed the last time, and then Rockstar dropped the trailer, and people were like, "Oh, this looks amazing." I think maybe that's one of the things where I think that was more the price discussion, and
they could cyberpunk it and it'd be fine.
It probably would, but there's a lot riding on it, and they know they're sitting on a gold mine. So it's a matter of it. If it comes out in May, if it comes out in November, it doesn't matter. Like, people, it's a 6-month wait, and we want the game to be good as it is, and it's going to sell. Like, you would imagine it'll even sell more in the holiday window, because that's when people are shopping for gifts and stuff. Like, it's going to sell no matter whatever. But also, I did see, November 19th, I was thinking to myself, that's like the last week you could really sell it if you're really coming out that year, because you're not gonna release it around Thanksgiving. You're not gonna release it in December, so it's like really the last week, the last like main week you can release a game like Grand Theft Auto, and otherwise then it's like, okay, we're in 2027. Either way, super looking forward to it. I don't know when we'll get the next trailer. Maybe early next year or whatever. It's just one of those things where it's like, hey, we need to wait. It's like people have been waiting forever. And it's like almost the end of the generation, because people are talking about the next Xbox, the next PS5, or the PS6 coming out in 2027. And it's like GTA 6 basically at the end. But it also runs right into their strategy of, we're going to release the game on these consoles, right? We're going to sell bajillion units, and then we're going to release it on PC, and everybody who bought it on console who owns a PC, you're going to double dip. So we're going to make so much money on the PC version, and then you'll have the RP craze and all that stuff. And then the new consoles will be out, the PS6 and the next Xbox, and maybe they do a remastered version like they did for the, PS5 and Xbox One, where they could potentially sell it again if they wanted to, or for a little charge or whatever. And they could continue to just milk it like they've done for the other ones. So it kind of fits in with their whole thing. And it's the only real, you can give them all the time in the world because you know how much money it's going to make. And so like no other game is afforded that amount of time and that amount of budget, because it's like the surest hit of all surest hits. That if we spend $1 billion on this and we give them more time, and okay, so we did spend $1 billion on it, but okay, the extra delay is going to cost us $100 million. What does it matter? Let them release the best product they can in a great window, and we'll make all of our money back in the first 24 hours probably, or whatever it would be, right? Because it's going to be like, people are going to buy it for the single player, people are going to buy it for the multiplayer. It's going to have shark cards, and who knows? Is the price going to be $70? Is the price going to be $80? Is it going to be $100? I mean, there's still that discussion to be had about the pricing of it. Who knows when we get there, but I don't know.
What if it's $1,000, bro?
It won't be that much. But so people are like Forza Horizon 6, for example, supposed to be coming early next year around May. And it's like, okay, well, you say, well, Grand Theft Auto and Forza, they're not really competing with each other, but still, you don't want to release a game around another huge release. Like Forza Horizon, biggest racing game franchise out there, an absolutely huge game, but dwarfed by Grand Theft Auto. But now Grand Theft Auto's moved. So now it's like, okay, well, we have the window to ourselves. But now Xbox has some decisions to make, and maybe even PlayStation 2, because Wolverine's slated for fall of 2026, and Xbox has currently 3 games slated for fall: Gears E-Day, Halo Remake, and Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4. And you can essentially look at, with Grand Theft Auto planting its flag on November 19th, that almost November's off limits to Xbox at this point, and PlayStation. So Insomniac is probably looking at like October to get out Wolverine, if they can get it out by then, which I think Spider-Man 2 came out in October. So you're probably looking at like, we need to have our game out a month before Grand Theft Auto releases. But it's an interesting thing, because the 25th anniversary of Xbox is next year, and the 25th anniversary of Halo is what? Halo is November 15th, which is a Sunday, which is an odd day to release a game. But one of my first thoughts after I saw this GTA delay was like, Halo's got to move. Like you can't release Halo Remake in the month of November anymore. That game's that game's got to be an October or September release at this point.
I thought Halo is a big deal, bro.
Not as big as a deal as Grand Theft Auto.
Damn.
And that's 100%.
Well, I had a theory.
What was
I
your
had a theory that my theory was that Grand Theft Auto moved because they were scared of the Diablo and World of Warcraft expansions, which are sort of in that time frame.
Yeah, you wish that was the.
I think that's the real reason. They're scared of Blizzard. I don't blame them, man. I mean, the only company that could really take on GTA is Blizzard. Let's be real. Let's be real, bro.
How about you be real?
Right. What?
It would have torpedoed Diablo in World of Warcraft.
No.
Yeah.
You really think people would choose Grand Theft Auto over World of Warcraft?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I don't think so. I will say this though. I think it's kind of funny that I heard a rumor. I don't know if it's true, but Blizzard specifically brought forward some of its plans to avoid GTA.
I mean, dude, there's been articles from like Jason Schreier and all these other people basically that like, yeah, the publishers have all these meetings about what are we going to do because your game's essentially dead if you launch, because that's what I'm saying, like about Halo Remake. If Xbox had plans of releasing the Halo Remake on the anniversary date, which you would imagine there's a good possibility that was always the plan of like, we're going to release Halo Remake on November 15th. Good date, coincides with the 25th anniversary, just makes a lot of sense, right? With GTA 6 launching 4 days after that, I'm sorry, as big as Halo fan as I am, nobody would care about nobody would care about Halo anymore if Grand Theft Auto is launching that soon afterwards. Like, seriously, it is. I'm not saying it would be dead on arrival, but its sales potential would be drastically diminished. So, for the health of the franchise, you have to move. You can't release anything in that window. And as much as like, you know, people say Call of Duty's a juggernaut, and Call of Duty usually sticks out that time frame, like mid-November-ish. Like this year's Call of Duty Black Ops 7 is coming November 14th. Well, GTA is kind of once in a lifetime thing. So if they were planning on releasing
once in a lifetime.
Well, it seems like it almost. How long has it been since GTA 5? Yeah. It's like it almost feels like a lifetime. So this is a, I don't know, once in a lifetime, but like once in generations event. And even something like Call of Duty, we've seen Call of Duty have to sort of change some of its things because of the competition with Battlefield, right? We've seen them change their matchmaking stuff. We've seen them run back their idea about skins simply because they're worried about Battlefield, which has done really well. Supposedly sold like 10 million copies. Grand Theft Auto is going to blow Battlefield out of the water. So if like Call of Duty's already worried about like Battlefield hurting them, and so like they got to change some stuff, of course they're going to be worried about the sales potential of Grand Theft Auto potentially eating away at what they're doing. So like they would have to move. Call of Duty normally does do if you look at the last few releases, they do have like a release in late October. Last year, Call of Duty Black Ops 6 was late October. This year's is mid-November. I think Modern Warfare 3's was like late October. So there's a good chance like Modern Warfare 4 probably releases in late October to just sort of avoid, to at least have some time by itself from Grand Theft Auto. But that still begs the question, like, well, Sony better hope Wolverine's ready. Wolverine's coming out at least a month beforehand, because if it's not, well, then you can't release it. And Xbox, like I said, Fable, Gears, Halo, what do you do? Because November's off limits at this point, so that means you got to move Halo, and you got to move Halo up, because you're certainly not going to delay Halo to 2027, because then you miss the whole 25th anniversary, like the whole reason why it exists and why it's tied to that. So it's like that game has to release then. It's also the 20th anniversary of Gears next year. And I don't think they were planning on releasing that. I think Gears 1 on the 360 launched November 10th. So to me, there's no way they were planning on releasing Gears and Halo like 5 days apart or whatever. So Gears
Here's what
probably.
You do, bro.
What do you think?
Here's what you do. You stop Grand Theft Auto 6 launching on Xbox.
Yeah,
that's the only thing Microsoft can do. Cancel the contract. Just cancel it, bro.
Yeah.
Save Halo. They've got to cancel the GTA contract.
No, it's interesting because before it was like, oh, we don't have to worry about it because GTA is in May. But now GTA is in November, granted later in the year, so you still could release. But now you got to tell your devs, like, by the way, Halo's coming out 2 months earlier now than our plan. Or I guess the thing is, Xbox just did a release strategy where they released 3 games in the span of a week. Keeper came out on a Friday. Ninja Gaiden 4 came out the next Tuesday, and then Outer Worlds 2 came out that Friday. So we've seen them bunch up their releases, but Ninja Gaiden 4, Keeper, and Outer Worlds 2 are not Halo, Gears, and Fable, right? There's a lot more money invested in all that stuff, where I would imagine they'd want to spread those out quite a bit, but you need to avoid that Grand Theft Auto.
Well, this is one of the things I wonder, like, because Microsoft is increasingly Game Pass centric with its thinking, and one of the big segments of the market, which is often underreported and underrepresented in the discourse, is the segment of the market which buy games and doesn't actually play them. And I think like Game Pass all up is a vehicle to monetize that segment of the audience that wants to have access, but doesn't necessarily care about having constant engagement and stuff like that, right? So like when it comes to third-party devs, it's kind of like the lack of engagement does impact how much money they earn. But like when it's first party, it's a little bit different. So Microsoft's probably thinking about this in terms of like, we've got a cohort of gamers now who specifically play through Game Pass, and that's the vehicle driving our revenue. So I think that reduces to some degree the impact of Call of to some degree. You know, I'm not going to over exaggerate the impact here, but it's going to reduce the impact to some degree, at least on the Xbox platform, because people aren't just going to cancel their subscriptions the month that GTA launches. They'll see like, I can play those games later, or play those games concurrently.
Concurrently with GTA. Where how many people only buy one game a year or two games a year? Well, I tell you what, a lot of, like for that year, game people buy is going to be Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, maybe the game they buy is Grand Theft Auto, but they see that there's all this other stuff going into Game Pass, like Halo. They keep their subscription because they play Halo concurrently with GTA.
Well, I'm not. Like, I mean, was anybody arguing for them for canceling the subscription?
No. But I'm just saying, like, it doesn't impact them as much because, like, they want the Game Pass. They want to stop the Game Pass churn. So I think, like, it's more important that people perceive that Game Pass still has a value, even if they're playing GTA that month. Like, you are a mono gamer. You only play one game at a time. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people play games like that. But there's a cohort of weirdos like myself who play maybe 5 different games in a day. You know, yesterday, Rand, I played Dragon Quest 1 for a bit. Then I played Dusk for a bit. Then I played Supermarket Simulator for a bit. I put 2 hours into Satisfactory this week. I play a lot of games.
Yeah, Satisfactory finally came to Xbox, huh?
Satisfactory is so satisfying.
Ooh.
Satisfactory is fucking great, by the way. It hurts my brain because it's all about logistics, and I'm not good at logistics. The game is basically math. It's math, the game, with 3D graphics. It is crack. That game is crack. But so is Supermarket Simulator, also crack. And you know what else I did this week, Rand?
What'd you do?
I bought Five Nights at Freddy's on Xbox because it was on a deal for you. So I bought that shit. So now I'm going to try and play that as well. Might even stream it tomorrow. But I think like with Game Pass, the impact is reduced on hitting people's on hitting Microsoft's thought process with regards to launch cycles. I don't think they're going to say to devs, you've got to get this out 2 months earlier. I don't think they're going to do that. I think they'll just be like, they'll either do like a delay, like they did for, what was it, Avowed? They'll do a delay.
So they're going to delay, you think they'll rather delay Halo Remake past the 25th anniversary to 2027? Is that what you're saying? You think that's more realistic than moving it forward?
Do we actually have Halo's launch date?
No, we don't. But one would assume that it would.
Let's assume, right? If Halo was launching alongside GTA, I think they'd just let it go.
I don't think so.
I don't think they'd move it.
I think they 100% would move it.
I think they'd be like, fuck it.
No,
fuck it, bro.
What?
Get it out there. No one cares about Halo anyway. I mean, kick it out the door.
That's the thing. I guess you'd have those discussions about when the game's ready versus whatever. And maybe the November the anniversary date, it wasn't the release date anyways. Maybe it releases early next year, like Forza Horizon 5, and then the fall was supposed to be Gears and Fable. Who knows? But I mean,
that has to be we're not gonna end up in a situation, right, where GTA 6 launches up against nothing. There will be games that have no choice but to launch up against the juggernaut.
And what games
Like
would they be?
Silksong.
Like the next Assassin's Creed?
I don't know. I mean, Assassin's Creed would get delayed.
I mean, it could,
Definitely.
but
I don't think Microsoft would delay Halo. I think they'd just be like, this reduces Game Pass churn, even if people play it later. This is about value for Game Pass. It's not about hard sales.
But it is about hard sales because you're also selling it on PC and PlayStation, though.
Yeah, but they'll be like, maybe we can get them later. That's
Will
fine.
you, though? Sometimes you just have one opportunity and that's it.
Yeah.
So I
We'll see what happens.
I disagree with you.
I think realistically, I think Halo was probably coming out before November anyway.
I mean, there's a very good. I mean, Halo
If I
3
had to
came out in
guess-
September.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if I had to guess, September is where I plant my flag for that.
You know, maybe Gears was supposed to come out in November. I mean, obviously it's all speculation, you know, based around like the idea of the 25th anniversary. You know, you want to release the Halo 1 remake on the date of the Halo 1 game. It just kind of makes logistical marketing sense. But now that Grand Theft Auto's right there, in my opinion, it doesn't matter if it's like, well, Game Pass or whatever. It doesn't matter. You need to move the game 100%. 100% you need to move it. The different time to before. Just like you wouldn't want to like launch a Wolverine. Too much money spent in these games to play with it willy-nilly and being like, actually, you know what? We're fine releasing it. And then, you know, all that effort and all that money and all that time you put in that stuff is just overshadowed by the bigger release when you could have been smart and either moved the game forward or delayed it into the following year, you know? So I now they have a year to figure this out, Jez. They have a year to figure this out, right?
I think like they're probably. I want to imagine that they probably planned Call of Duty, Halo around launching not to overlap with Call of Duty. So like, when does Call of Duty launches? October, November usually, right?
Usually.
So I imagine they're probably like Halo needs to launch before Call of Duty, because there's probably some overlap there, and people can play Halo and then move on to Call of Duty. So I would imagine they'd already sort of thought about some of this stuff with regards to the November launch window, which is going to be Call of Duty. And, you know, Call of Duty is not going to avoid GTA. They're not going to delay Call of Duty for GTA.
No, they moved
GTA,
they moved Call of Duty up.
Call of Duty has to launch in that window. So I reckon like
Doesn't have to. Call of Duty will launch the end of October. It'll be before GTA 6. It'll be in October.
No, but
100%.
But yeah, what I'm saying is like for Call of Duty's business model, it always launches that year, that month.
I'm not saying you could delay to 2027. I'm saying if they were planning on we're going to release it mid-November like this year's game, those plans now change. It'll be a few weeks earlier in the end of October, like last year's game.
Yeah, so I imagine the way it plays out is E-Day August, Halo September.
No. August?
Call of Duty October.
You think E-Day's going to be August?
Yeah, man.
What about Fable? Where's Fable fall in?
Delayed.
You think it's delayed to 2027? I mean,
yeah, I think Fable gets delayed to 2027.
I guess they could use the delay of Grand Theft Auto as a way to delay Fable and be like, we were planning on releasing it in November, but with Grand Theft Auto being there, we decided to give it more time, and now it's coming out in May of 2027.
Yeah. And for reference, this is totally speculative. I have no sort of insight into what's going on here. But if I had to guess today, I think it'd be, if any of those games get delayed to 2027, it'd probably be Fable.
Yeah, well, I mean, hey, Phil did say we got big 4 game. It would be just like it when, you know, Phil comes out and says something, and then something ends up being wrong. Where he said the 4 games were coming in 2026. Be like, well, it's actually only 3.
GTA was going to pull that shit.
Well, I mean, yeah, true.
Fable also has the biggest overlap, like open world kind of thing.
Sure. And I guess you could say, well, Gears is on its 20th anniversary and Halo's on its 25th anniversary. You don't want to miss those windows.
No.
So I mean, I guess it depends on, you know, when Playground had it, you know, pegged for like when can we release? Were they targeting a November timeframe release? If so, well then, yeah, you're probably gonna. Yeah, you're probably right. You probably delay it. If they were targeting September and you could get it there, well then you don't need to, as long as it's out a good time before, you know. Or maybe they do a thing where Grand Theft Auto or where Gears and Halo launch in this and a week apart from one another, like Ninja Gaiden 4 and Outer Worlds 2 did, you know, where they just kind of stack them. I don't know. Either way, it will. GTA being in November is going to have some ramifications for potential releases of other bigger franchises, because everyone's going to move out of the way because there's too much time and money invested in these games for you to stand pat. I know Jez says maybe Halo's to stand pat. I'm saying, like, you lose too much money if you stand pat. Too much time and money invested in all these franchises for anybody to be like, you know what, let's go head to head with Grand Theft Auto. We'll be fine. No, you won't.
Tom Henderson just said that GTA 6 is going to cost Take-Two $10 million per month.
So $60 million bucks.
Million? What?
So what, the delay cost them $10 million from May to November? $10 million each month is not out. So $60 million. They'll make that easily. First day. Not a big deal. Yeah. You know? Not a big deal whatsoever.
We have to think about, like, when it comes to delaying things like Halo, like, would Microsoft be willing to accept those kind of losses? I mean, it's clear to me that, like, stuff like Perfect Dark was essentially cut because it was just like, we don't want to spend more money on this. Because when you delay things, that's like another year of wages you have to spend.
They probably had
Perfect
Dark probably had another 2 years before it was coming out.
Yeah.
You know?
So they missed their milestones, and then we're like, well, this is going to take even longer.
Same thing, like Everwild. When was that? I don't know. I saw Christopher Dring said he talked to some ex-Rare employees or Rare employees that said they were surprised Everwild wasn't canceled earlier. You know? Mm-hmm. And it makes you wonder, you know, State of Decay 3, what's up with that game?
State of Decay is coming out. It's totally fine.
Yeah.
No, don't jinx that shit, bro. Do not jinx that shit for me, bro.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only, like, I'm interested in playing Halo, and, you know, I'm looking forward to E-Day, and I'm interested in Fable. But State of Decay 3 really is...
Dude, Gears is your game. What are you talking about? That's you.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. But it's like, it's the kind of game that I'll enjoy and then forget about, you know.
Okay.
Whereas, like, State of Decay is going to be like this big multiplayer co-op experience, and it's the kind of game, like, where you really sink your teeth into it, like an RPG, you know. Like, I like Gears, but, like, the genre is not really something I get super excited about, like the linear, you know, third-person shooter. I think it's going to be amazing, but it's not something like, you know, that I know I'm going to be playing for a long period of time, right? So, like, for me, the thing that I'm most hyped about out of Xbox's first party, Blizzard notwithstanding, is State of Decay 3. So, like, I am praying that nothing goes wrong for that game. But you don't know, do you? You don't know what's fully going on behind the scenes.
No, I guess you don't. So, let's what else we got to talk about, Jez? Another game got delayed, although a part of me wonders if they announced this delay to slide underneath the GTA delay like nobody would notice, and that's Marvel 1943 Rise of Hydra. Got delayed.
Two things about this, Rand.
Okay.
Two things about this. I hadn't heard that the game had been delayed, so it's slipping under the radar worked. However, I've also never heard of the game. So that's what is it?
It's that mashup between Black Panther and Captain America. There was like a really cool cinematic video that they released earlier in the year, and that's really been about it. But I don't know if it was supposed to come out this. It clearly wasn't supposed to come out this year. I think it was supposed to come out early 2026, but they said it's been delayed past early 2026. So they delayed it yesterday. Yeah, we haven't seen any gameplay of it or anything. We just saw that one cinematic thing. So we'll see how that goes. PlayStation been in the news here, Jez. Something that might be interesting to you. One,
I sure was interested in this.
They PlayStation started their stream your own game thing like Xbox has, where
Yep.
your PlayStation Portal device, which normally is a remote streaming device that people use to play their PlayStation games remotely, now can
Yep.
play stream the games that you own through the cloud, and I think something like 2,800 games are now available. Does that make you? I was kind of because you say you don't got no room for a PlayStation, but I was gonna say is the PlayStation Portal a more interesting device to you now that you could just buy that for $200 and potentially stream game? You don't need a PlayStation console in that regard. I mean, you have the PC, so you can play those games, but is a Portal something that you might be interested in?
You know me, Rand. I like my handhelds.
You sure do. That's why I'm asking you, because this is a handheld.
I sure do. And when I saw that news, I went straight to Amazon and looked up how much they cost.
$200.
I was like, yeah, $200. 200 quid as well. So it should technically be cheaper here, but it isn't because of reasons. So yeah, it's 200 quid. If it was like actually concurrent with the US price and it was about 170, 169.99, I might have pulled the trigger.
Really?
I was hovering over that buy button thinking, man, I am curious about this. Because I've always said the reason I don't have a PlayStation because I physically don't have space. Like my desk.
But to add another handheld, you got as much space in the world, baby.
Exactly. I've got drawers that handhelds can live in. I mean, I could put a PlayStation 5 on the floor, I guess, or maybe mount it to the wall, but I don't really want to do that for a system that I would probably only use a few times a year. But then the cloud stuff sounded really compelling. But then even then, I started thinking about it more, and it was like, I've got so much to play already. And do I really want to pay $16 a month on top of buying the games?
Yeah, because you do have I think you do have to be subscribed to the premium tier, right? The middle tier.
Yeah.
Yes.
You have to be on PS Plus to get the cloud streaming stuff. So while I do think it's a fantastic move, and it's very impressive that Sony has leapfrogged the amount of games that Xbox has. So PlayStation has over 2,800 games in their stream your own game library, whereas Xbox only has 2,100 games in their stream their own game library. And Xbox is adding constantly like dozens, almost on a weekly basis. They're adding dozens and dozens and more. A lot of it's sort of like indie games, stuff that I'm not even that interested in, or stuff I just haven't heard of. There's a lot of good quality games in there, sure, like The Witcher, GTA, as we found out earlier. But at the same time, like that big bloated number of 2,000, there's a lot missing from the catalog, obviously. So I think a lot of companies are sort of holding on to their catalogs because it's like, maybe we want Sony and Xbox to bid against each other for the rights to stream this game. We'll wait and see what happens. We won't just give away our stuff upfront willy-nilly. We'll see if the companies are willing to bid on it and acquire this content. We'll see what happens. So I think some companies, some publishers are playing they're playing a wait and see approach to the way the industry pans out. But yeah, it's very, very cool to see Sony get into space. And it's competition, right? It's competition. For this segment, I want to see Microsoft push harder on this because Microsoft claims that cloud's one of their fastest growing segments. And
it's always fast when you're starting from 0%.
Yeah, it sure is.
Any number going up is like huge. It's like, oh my god, double-digit growth. It's like, yeah, going from 0 to 10 is huge, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah. So it's like they're always talking about how good it is and how much it's growing. And this is kind of a moment to be like, well, put up or shut up. If Sony's going hard on this and they've actually got a very affordable hardware, good quality hardware that can run this stuff. And this is another issue for Microsoft too. Microsoft doesn't have an operating system that could work on a device like this. They would have to either make something from scratch based on Linux or fork out for an Android license, potentially. So Microsoft, like Windows needs more powerful stuff to run, because all of Microsoft's sort of kiosk Windows operating systems, they've all been depreciated. They've stopped making Windows RT, and the Windows IoT stuff is pretty much dead, I think, with all the UWP stuff. So, and all their ARM based stuff requires like full-blown Windows, which you wouldn't need on a device like this. So, V in chat says Android license is free. Like, yeah, Android open source project is free, but like, would they not want to have like Google Play on it and stuff like that? Like, if you want Google Play on it, you have to buy a license, like a proper license. I suppose like they could do stuff like that, but again, Microsoft laid off their entire Android team a few years ago. So Microsoft had a team making stuff for Android, and they laid them all off. So Microsoft would be starting even further back,
Yeah.
to bring about a device like this, which is why like they've had Logitech make them up to now.
It's funny
So
though.
yeah, it's cool. It's cool to see the competition in space. And just to finish off my point, like the PlayStation Portal went from being like a bit of a joke, a bit of a silly product. Like, hang on, you want me to pay $200 just to stream my PlayStation, to being actually like, oh shit, this is a pretty compelling product now. And I tell you, PlayStation Cloud is not bad. I've used PlayStation Cloud. I tried it the other week when I was doing comparisons against the new xCloud stuff. I bought a month, played some Bloodborne. It's very capable, man. It's a very capable cloud. And, like Face 2K BKNY says in the chat with the $19, thank you very much. Just to put this out there, for people who don't know gaming history, Sony did cloud gaming before Microsoft when they purchased Gaikai in 2014. And Sony started cross-buy with the PS3 Vita before Microsoft. So, yeah, it's true. Like, Gaikai, which also used to be On Live, I think,
Yeah, I think
even
so.
further back.
Yeah, they bought
so
On Live.
was like, you bought a little box and it streamed the game from cloud, and it was terrible.
Well, Sony
really
was using
slow.
that during like the to stream their back compat stuff. Like they used that on the PS4 and PS5 to stream like PS3 games. Because remember, like PS4 and the PS5 didn't have native back compat, so like they sort of used the Gaikai stuff to stream at like a solution for it. But obviously they were always going to venture more into cloud gaming as it becomes a more viable product, and that's one of the things you need to get like consumers educated about it and to understand it, and then not to immediately be put off being like, because you hear about cloud streaming, it's like it's never going to be that good, it's never going to beat a native experience, and then like NVIDIA GeForce gets to the point where as people questioning be like, wait a minute, this almost feels native, and then cloud streaming feels better and better, and it's like, well, this could actually work, right? And you know what I mean?
Yeah, like, dude, I don't know if I told you this, but like when I was doing my tests for The Witcher 3, I gave it to my brother, and I was like, what do you think of that Witcher running on this handheld? Because it was like the base model of Xbox Ally. And he literally said this, and I got a recording of him saying this. I was going to put it in the video, but he didn't want his face out there. I might upload it to Patreon with blurring effects or something. But he literally said, this is much better than cloud gaming. He thought it was native, and I was like, "Ow, this is actually cloud gaming. This is not native." He thought it was native, so like it's come a long way. The technology's really come a long way, and I suppose like this shows that like Sony's pretty serious about it. Frankly, I just wonder what Microsoft's response is going to be to this. Are they going to like turn up the heat trying to get more games into stream your own game now? Because now Sony has more games than I think anyone. I think they've even got more than Nvidia, maybe. Obviously with Nvidia is weird because you buy the games from Steam, not Nvidia directly. I think they do have some games you can buy directly from them, but I don't think it's anywhere near as much as what Microsoft and Sony have. I could be wrong on that. I'll have to check. But not only that, but PlayStation has dedicated branded hardware, whereas Xbox doesn't, in the same space that Microsoft supposedly wants to be a leader in. So I like that competition because I want Microsoft to release their own handheld.
Yeah,
you're
still banging the roof for that, their own handheld thing. So
yeah, but like a cloud handheld too.
Yeah, because remember they were prototyping. They were prototyping that. I mean, I remember like hearing about the cloud handheld prototype they had, which never came to fruition. Just like a lot of things that Xbox does, right? Hell, what was that one? Was it Hobart? It was like the stick or whatever, that the cloud gaming stick that you put into your USB stick. What I forget the name I was supposed to. Phil had it on the shelf. You remember? You reported on it.
Hobart.
Was it Hobart? Like
no, Keystone.
Keystone. There we go.
It was Hobart, and then it became Keystone. So Keystone was keyed off, shelved, as it were. And I think the reason was they wanted it to be $99. They wanted it to get down to $99.
Yeah, and they just couldn't get
And
it cheap enough.
they couldn't get there.
And then I think they struck the
Like,
deal with like LG to have like the app on there and stuff. It's kind of like, well, do you even need that sort of thing if like you just have it as a smart app on these smart TVs?
I clowned on the Logitech G Cloud, but it's very good. It's very, very good. The battery life is crazy because it's all streaming. The hardware is really, really good. The only thing I don't like about it is the colors.
What's the price on the Logitech G Cloud? What was the price? Wasn't it like $400 or something?
I don't think it was that much, was it? Maybe it was.
I thought it was a little bit more expensive than you would think, but
Logitech G Cloud. So I can't find it. Okay, so it's £250 in the UK as of right now.
Right.
What is it in American?
Well, I would say that also I don't know what the price was when it launched, but yeah.
Hang on, let's look up Windows Central's review. Windows Central review. So that Windows Central review will have so it launched in 2022, at the back end of 2022, back when xCloud was not particularly great for anything but 2D, and the price tag was, what's the price? Oh come on, have you not listed the price anywhere?
Windows Central for you, not listing the price.
$299, $299.99. So yeah, it was $300. And then, but it had like an instant sale of, so you could get it for $250 at launch. It had like this early bird sale thing. But yeah, even $250 is pretty spicy, man. For something that wasn't even proven back then. And I suppose like for Logitech,
the funny thing is that with the Portal is it's like all they did was take a DualSense, rip it open, put in a screen in the middle, and connect it, and it's like here it is, you know, here's this thing. Which I know a lot of people feel. I think you mentioned like the Xbox Ally does feel like an Xbox controller in your hands, like because it has the grips on the side.
No, it does. It is the best handheld experience I've ever had from an ergonomic perspective. It blows the Steam Deck, the Switch, everything out of the water. It's the best. It's the best ergonomic handheld for ergonomics, native, ever. The only thing that feels better ergonomically, honestly, is the Logitech G Cloud, but that's because there's no hardware in it. So like the Logitech G Cloud is like a cloud. It's so light because it's just a tablet. But man,
so
Xbox Ally is sweet, bro.
The other bit of PlayStation news, which might have some bearing on a lot of people, even you, a lot of people on PC, was supposedly that there's some new icons that people discovered. One of them being cross-buy.
Yeah,
and the next two was like PS5/PC or whatever. So, I mean, there's always like the speculation is this means that there's going to be some form of PC cross-buy. And there's always been rumors that Sony's was going to be building their own PC launcher at some point.
Yeah.
And have we come to that point now where they have enough games and, you know, like the time frame is short enough where like the ports are much quicker than 3 years. They're like a year or 6 months or whatever. So we would imagine that cross-buy would I would imagine, I could be wrong, but I would imagine the cross-buy won't apply to Steam, because why would it, right? So if it's really like PS5, PC cross-buy, then that has to be Sony's own store that they're launching with their own launcher. And in my mind, okay, what was your or?
Or some kind of deal with Epic Games, because Sony's already got some kind of deal with Epic Games for PlayStation games on Epic Store.
Well, I mean, the PlayStation games are also on Steam, though. So I mean, it doesn't really.
Yeah, but they did some kind of special deal with Epic, like it had a press release and everything. So like my thinking is like, if Sony isn't going to do their own launcher, because making your own launcher is not free. That comes with margins as well, and you know. So like, if you're losing 30% on Steam, you're still losing about 20% on your own store. 17%, something like that, from having to do customer support, develop the app, keep the, app updated, and then also like run a cloud for downloading stuff, So it's not free to have your own store. The margins are obviously bad.
Yeah, but it's just cost.
So what
It's
you
just the
do?
cost of doing business, though.
Yeah, it's just the cost of doing business. But like, maybe if you don't want to do all that bullshit yourself, but you also don't want to give Steam the full kit and caboodle, maybe you do a special deal with Epic Games where it's like cross-buy available exclusively with Epic Games.
I mean, I guess that's a
To help
possibility for
grow
sure.
the Epic Games
I mean,
store.
one other possibility is that it doesn't have anything to do with cross-buy for PC and PS5. That it might be there for their future handheld thing, where it's like you buy it
Yeah,
on
that too.
PS5, you get it on the handheld or something along those lines. Because PlayStation did originally have it with, it was originally PS3 and Vita, and PS4 was eventually included on it, where like you bought the game, you got it on these devices, and they moved away from that, and then Xbox kind of started it up in 2016 with their Xbox Play Anywhere initiative. I think Gears was the first one, where if you bought one copy of the console version, you got the PC version, vice versa. And they've kind of been leading in that space for a while now. It seems like, okay, cross-buy is going to make at least Sony's going to seem like they're going to come back. I was thinking, there's rumors about the PlayStation PC store for a while and their own launcher. I was thinking, okay, they'll launch that. They'll have cross-buy. They're going to want to bring PC people over to their own store to buy their own games instead of giving that 30% up to Steam. But like take for example, and I'm not saying this is going to happen. This is just use an example. Wolverine coming out next fall, 2026. So let's just say the PlayStation Store launches, I don't know, sometime in May or something next year, right? And you got all the games that you bought on your PlayStation can now be playable and downloadable, the PC versions on this PlayStation Store PC launcher. But like the draw was essentially, at least to me, I'd be thinking like, okay, Wolverine, it's available day one on PC, but only through Sony's launcher. Like it won't come to Steam for a year, but it'll be available on PC day one through that launcher. So like if the PC people want to use it, well, they got to pay us. So we'll get our money, and anybody who buys it on the console could also get the PC version. Could they use day and date as like a incentive for people to buy the games from their own launcher? Did like Sony think enough of their own games? Do they think they're enough of a draw for PC people to be like, you know what? We'll be fine not playing them on Steam if we're going to play them there. Because I sort of feel if there isn't a day and date sort of incentive, that kind of lessens the impact of cross-buy, in my opinion. Maybe it doesn't for anybody else. Like maybe people will be like, well, I'll be fine if it came a year later. I don't know. What do you think? When you do cross-buy like that, does it have to be day and date, or can they essentially be like, no, it's a year later, it's fine? What do you think?
I think it has to be day and date. Like it's not cross-buy if it's not day and date. Straight up, right?
Yeah.
So I think day and date's coming in some form, whether it's like a deal with Epic Games, whether it's actually just, on Sony making their own store. But I said previously on the show, it's like, if I'm Sony and I know Microsoft's next Xbox is going to be a PC with Steam, and I know for a fact that at least say, there's going to be a few million of these Xboxes sold. Because like you're going to get the Xbox enthusiast crowd buy these very, very quickly. So say like 20 million of the Xbox users upgrade over the first year, just say. That's 20 million Xbox users that will potentially turn into Steam customers on the basis of buying PlayStation games that they haven't had access to before. If I'm Sony, I just make my own store, put it there myself, and bypass the 30%. Because Steam doesn't play that nice with Windows on handheld, and it probably never will. Because Steam is going to release its own console next year, or the year after. Steam is releasing its own Steam Deck console, which is going to have both Xboxes and PlayStation's exclusives, making the whole argument for exclusives completely ridiculous. So in a universe where Steam has an affordable, powerful PlayStation Xbox combo console, in what universe does it make sense for Sony to gatekeep Xbox at that point? I think PlayStation just needs to make its own store, put that on the Xbox, take 100% of the revenue, and then bring the fight to Steam, because Steam is coming for both of them. Steam is coming. Steam has had years building up its infrastructure, learning how users use consoles, maturing its software stack, all that kind of stuff, and they've got all the games from both companies. How are all the Sony fans going to react when there's a Steam box that's just as powerful and has all the PlayStation games? Yeah, sure, they're a year later, but that year is going to become shorter and shorter and shorter over time.
I don't know. It's interesting. I don't know. PC gamers really hate installing other launchers. That's what I've always heard. They don't like it. Like they didn't like it when games are Epic exclusive. It's one of the reasons why people say like Alan Wake 2 didn't do the numbers it should have, because nobody bought it on Epic, and it never came to Steam because Epic published it, right? And people just avoided buying those games on Epic. So would PC gamers, give the same shrift to the PlayStation Store because it's like, I don't want to launch this stuff? Or are PlayStation's games that good enough where they'd be like, you know what, for that I'd do it? Like if I wanted to play Wolverine day one instead of waiting a year. See, like, I'm not a PC gamer. I just be like, I'll just download the launcher if I wanted to play the game. I had a way to do it. But I don't know. Like, I'm not. Maybe there's some PC gamers that are like, screw that, I'm never installing another launcher. It's Steam or else for me. And there's probably plenty of people like that. So there's a part of me that even wonders, even if Sony did their own storefront where they did offer cross-buy and they did do day one games on PC, if it wouldn't even, like, if it would just be ignored by most PC gamers because it wasn't Steam. And it would just be like, you're just giving the console guys a PC version. Maybe that they have different data that says otherwise or whatever, but it's interesting. We'll see. I guess we'll see how that all plays out if this does happen at some point.
It might not even be true. The sourcing is
I suppose. I guess we'll find out eventually. Amish AI says FM6, so Forza, or was that Forza Motorsport 6? Fable release on Xbox, PC, and Game Pass. No PS day one. GTA 6 only on console. Competition will be only on dead Xbox with best lineup in 2026. So you think Fable... So you think... So yeah, we already know Forza Horizon's not releasing on PlayStation day one, but we don't know how long in between. It could be Indiana Jones style 4 months. Could be 2 months for all we know. Could be 6 months. Could be a year. We don't know. Fable, we don't even know if that's launching next year, let alone what systems it's going to launch on. So we'll see. Chris says, do you think Xbox will try to take advantage of GTA momentum to sell more consoles next year? It seems like a great opportunity to expand the base, but they also seem like they don't care anymore. It really does.
It's hard, man.
It really does seem like they don't care about selling the Series X and S consoles anymore.
Yeah, it does. I've tried to speak to people about some of this stuff, and I think they've really resigned themselves to this idea that there's nothing they can do. So
yeah, self-fulfilling prophecy. Nobody wants it, so we're just gonna stop making it. And
look
at the results speak for themselves. We told you nobody wanted it, so it justifies their decision. But Grand Theft Auto, we've seen when games are exclusive to next gen, because cross-gen went on for so long this year that people will buy the console. I mean, college football comes to mind as an example. And Grand Theft Auto is the biggest thing out there. And there are plenty of people that still play on PS4 and Xbox One. A lot of those people play Grand Theft Auto, and you would think those people are going to be like, I need to get the system. What's it going to be? So maybe I suppose it's possible they could be waiting for that to release a bunch of consoles at the end of next year to coincide with that launch. I'm sure PlayStation will have their stock pretty healthy because they're most likely going to have the marketing campaign and whatever. So they're gonna that's. I guess the one argument you could make is by the time next year comes around, so many people already have the console, so will it make that much of a noticeable impact when how many consoles has PlayStation sold already? Like 80 million or something? So by the time next year comes around, will they be close to 90 million above it? Is that how much? So it's like at that point, like, do the people who want a Grand Theft Auto already have the systems? So would it really push as much hardware as you would think? And I don't know the answer to that question. I still think it's going to push hardware pretty well. So I guess only Microsoft will be able to tell you if they have plans on doing that. But something tells me they would use the justification of the price of the console and the demand of it to be like, we'll maybe make some extra couple units, but not that much. Because I don't think they don't care about that hardware anymore. Rave Damo says, when talking about delays in 2027, we can just about start talking about next gen launch lineup at that point. That is true. You know, we think the next gen console is launching in 2027, so what would be essentially the launch lineup there? You know, if you did have to delay Fable because of Grand Theft Auto, do you just move Fable to a launch game at that point? Like, why bother releasing it? Or does it even matter because most likely it's next gen anyways, so you just release it when it's ready, kind of thing?
I don't think Microsoft isn't really strategizing around hardware anymore. They just the whole point of Xbox hardware is for the enthusiasts now. So I don't think they strategize very hard about that stuff. I think like Xbox Series S and X ecosystem will be supported for a decent amount of time, like as long as people are there. Like Microsoft's still actively supporting the Xbox One, for God's sake, more so than PlayStation supports PS4. Like, Rand, I heard an event during conversations that it was only this year that the 360 went below 1 million monthly active users.
Really?
There's a really strong community of classic COD players still on the 360, you know, and Overwatch players as well. So, not Overwatch, sorry. Some other game, I can't remember. But there's still like, maybe it was Overwatch. Overwatch isn't on the 360, is it? I don't think it is. Let me just check that. I can't remember. But anyway, it only dipped below that many monthly active users, you know. Because of games like Call of Duty. So Microsoft, like, when Microsoft thinks it's all going ecosystem, it just thinks about where people are currently playing. They don't really care about selling the hardware, so. Yeah. But it's all going to become academic when Steam releases its shit.
If they release their shit, people were sure it was coming this year too, Jez.
It's definitely coming.
Well, I'm not saying it won't come, but then again, will people look at how much the Steam Deck has sold? Not that much. Will people line up to will the Steam console sell as much as the Steam Deck or less or more?
I don't know.
Are people really looking for a device? Are PC gamers really looking for that sort of device? I don't know. I mean, it's an interesting idea, for sure. We need to see everything it can do. Maybe at that point it's like, yeah, it's going to sell a lot. But what was Steam Deck 2 going to do? Because people love their Steam Deck 1. But yeah, so I see you tweeted something about Halo. So Halo's over, huh? Halo Infinite,
yeah.
it's done. Last
Halo's
update coming November 18th.
It's dead.
10 years though, Jazz. That's what Chris Lee said, or whatever the hell. It's funny because 343
you shouldn't
never
really put Infinite in the name if it's not Infinite.
Well,
there is nothing about Halo Infinite that was Infinite.
Well, as far as I remember, 343 didn't say anything about 10-year plan. Just that, like.
No, but why was it called Infinite?
That's maybe because
there's no story reason. Why is it called Infinite? Does anyone know? Man.
Yeah.
It kind of implies that it's going to be an ever expanding kind of experience, right?
Well, maybe it was.
I remember I remember when it was announced as Infinite, people were like, oh, it's going to be like Destiny. They're going to drop story stuff, and there was always that campaign DLC rumor for ages, and really weird name. But anyway, yeah. So Halo Infinite is evidently not Infinite, and he's now dead with its last update denoted.
content update. Yeah. Yeah, it makes me wonder what do you call the next mainline Halo? Do you call it Halo 7? Do you call it Halo colon something or other and drop like the numbering, you know? Because we've seen franchise do that, like, you know, God of War dropped the numbering, for example. And sometimes, usually, you drop the numbering when you kind of get long in the tooth with a lot of additions. I mean, hell, Call of Duty's dropped the main numbering, and they just number it based on the sub-franchise, right? Because otherwise, this year's Call of Duty Modern Warfare would be what? Modern Warfare 7? So it's like, even with Black Ops, you're already at Call of Duty Black Ops 7. At some point, it's like, are you just... Remember, because the 2020 launch title was like Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, right? They didn't even number that one. So, like, at some point, the numbers are so huge. I did read something like where if, like, the number gets big enough, people see that, and if they haven't played in a while, they get turned off because they think they've missed too much. So if you see something like Call of Duty 8, but you haven't played it since 5, you're like, well, I feel like you missed something, so they just don't number it anymore. But yeah, it brings the question like, hey, what do you call the next mainline Halo game? Halo 7 or Halo something or other? I don't know. But I mean, we all knew like the support for Halo Infinite would eventually dwindle. I mean, there's that rumor that there's a standalone multiplayer game coming supposedly next year, which, you know, hasn't been announced yet, so I don't know. And with this being like the last update for Infinite, maybe it does have to happen next year. But when does it happen, and is it going to be any good? I don't know. So I guess we'll see with that. Let me see. Looking at anything, I look at my notes here. Like anything else? I think we talked about everything. So
yeah, let's get to Patreon Q&As.
We'll do the Patreon stuff. It's getting late for Jezzy. Yeah, so thank you guys for joining us. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Check out our sponsor for this episode, Surfshark, which is surfshark.net/XB2 is the link. We got our own URL. Links in the description, pinned to the comments. And consider supporting me and Jez directly on patreon.com/XB2. Let me... all right, here we go. We got the thread up. Get some of these questions. All right. Here we go. We got Chimera Chasm, who says, hey, Rand and Jez, how are you boys feeling about the GTA 6 delay? And the question is, will November 19, 2026 truly be its launch date, do we think? Or will it be delayed further into 2027? Keep up the great work, guys. I mean, here's the thing.
It's a $1 million question, isn't it?
Here's the thing. In the back, I always kind of thought it wasn't going to release in May anyways. I was always expecting a fall release. So the delay, it didn't really do anything for me because that's when I expected it to come out. Now, whether or not it actually releases then is another thing. I guess there's always the possibility it delays into 2027. I think Take-Two would probably want it out next holiday. I think that's a good time frame to release that game. It's going to dominate the fall. So I'll say 80-20 it releases next. Oh, actually, I'll go 70-30. 70-30 it releases November 19, 2026. Because you never know. I do think that union busting thing will probably have a negative impact on the morale at the studio, and maybe certain things don't go as fast. Maybe they whatever. But I'm willing to bet that it does release.
Yeah, I think so too.
We got Mr. Rave Damos. Hey, Jez, with the improvements to Xbox Cloud Gaming, are there any plans to improve the remote streaming from within your own home? Or is that something that is simply going to have to wait for the new hardware in 2027? Happy Friday.
Yeah, we did talk about that during the show, but like if you missed that section, I've been trying to ask my sources about why that is, whether there's like some kind of technological bottleneck on the Xbox Series X stopping that from happening. It could honestly just be a case of like the team is so stretched right now. They're trying to do so much stuff. They're trying to update Windows for the Ally. They're trying to prepare cloud gaming for new competition from Sony. Like all this kind of stuff is like really splitting their focus, I think, at a time where Microsoft's probably looking at even more layoffs in January because, you know, line goes up and all that. Amy Hood needs a next yacht or whatever she wants the money for. So it could just be a bandwidth thing, but I'll try and find out as soon as I can. But yeah, like we said earlier, like I tested it myself, and I was surprised because I was surprised at how bad remote play was compared to cloud gaming now, which shouldn't be the case, right?
Mm-hmm. I don't know. We have a Silas says, "Hey guys, I'm not sure if I'm stating the obvious, but with the alleged PC hybrid Xbox coming out, but wouldn't it make sense for third-party publishers to not make bespoke Xbox console versions of their games when the PC versions would be compatible? It wouldn't make sense for a Ubisoft to spend resources on an Assassin's Creed game for a niche system which won't have a large player base, when those Xbox players can easily purchase the game on Ubisoft Connect or Steam. Doesn't that seem a probable outcome?"
Microsoft has they've briefed publishers on their strategy, from what I've heard, and the publishers are supportive of that strategy. Publishers want competition. They don't want Steam to have a dominant position in the industry, fully dominant. They want them to have competition. So there's strong projections that the Xbox Series S and X platform will remain supported for at least 5 years from all the major publishers.
Well, that's what I was going to say is, in this scenario about Assassin's Creed game, it's going to be cross-gen, which means they're going to be making an Xbox Series X and S version. So it would run natively on that system through the back and pat stuff. So there would be a bespoke version. Now, if you're talking a version specifically made for that device that takes advantage of all the hardware or whatever, who knows? But I mean, that what I was kind of get into is some of my thinking of after that,
after that, what happens?
Essentially, if you get 8 years into it, and that system doesn't sell that much, it's I guess a lot of it also depends on how easy is it to port your Steam PC game to the Windows Store, and if it's super easy, then it's we'll just port it there or whatever. But at least for considering how long cross-gen went on and how long I think cross-gen will continue to go on into the next generation, that I don't really think there's a worry. I mean, I guess maybe
I think
I could should knock on wood, because maybe my statement will come back to bite me in the ass. But I think because of the back and pat stuff, those games will just natively run on there as a bespoke version.
I think yeah, I think I wouldn't be surprised if we see Xbox continue to support Xbox One even after the next one launches.
What, with their own games?
Yeah, COD and shit like that.
COD maybe, but they've stopped releasing all their. They haven't released an Xbox a game.
No, but I mean things like COD and Overwatch. I think COD and Overwatch continue to be supported even on Xbox One next gen.
Sure. But all their other studios have moved on. That none of them support Xbox One.
Yeah. Not the.
I mean, it's certainly possible that Call of Duty will continue to do that, for sure. But maybe they won't. Maybe a lot of people will move over from last gen when GTA 6 launches, and then it's it's not worth making that version. But maybe it will, because maybe
it ultimately depends on how many users are there.
Sure.
Yeah. It's all business and money.
Panda Man says, "Hey guys, playing on PC, the Ubisoft connection is kind of garbage. I don't want to use another launcher for my Game Pass Ultimate subscription. Does Jez still game on the Series X, or mostly handheld and PC now?"
Honestly, I'm about half and half right now. But when I use my handheld, I use the Xbox version. I spoke to Gene. I spoke to Gene and Gene Park this morning, and he was talking about how a lot of the icons were missing and stuff like that. And I noticed he's using the Steam versions of games, and the Steam doesn't play that well with the device, because Steam has done absolutely and why would they? Steam has not supported the Xbox Ally at all, So why would they? It's not their hardware. They don't care about it. But if you use the Xbox Ally how it wants to be used, which is as a companion to your Xbox experience, then you do get all the icons and you do get all the proper stuff, right? So when I play my Xbox Ally, I'm only playing the Xbox versions of games. So it becomes that argument, am I playing on Xbox or am I playing on PC at that point? I'm playing the Play Anywhere version, which has identical code to the Xbox version, if it's a Play Anywhere game. So does that mean I'm playing on Xbox? I don't know. But I have been playing mostly on my Ally the last couple of weeks because it's just so comfy, man. It's so comfy to just lie in bed with some nachos and just play Dragon Quest or something rather than sit at my desk. So like, there's a laziness aspect there. But yeah, I'd say I'm about half and half. There are some games though that I just don't want to play on a handheld, like the big cinematic kind of games. I don't want to play those on a handheld. I'm playing like smaller games, indie kind of games, Dragon Quest, Supermarket Simulator, playing that on a handheld. But then like I was trying to play Silent Hill 2 remake on the handheld, and I was just like, this is just, it detracts from the experience when it's like on a handheld and not on a big TV, big immersive TV with the lights off. I think playing on a handheld really does detract from the experience. So there's different ways I play that stuff. Tegan says in chat, nachos are massive food to eat while gaming. Right. I've got to admit something here about how I eat nachos. I buy the plain salted nachos and I don't eat them with dip.
So you just buy chips. You just buy tortilla chips and you don't dip them in anything.
Yeah. That's what we call them.
So when people say nachos, they think of nachos covered in cheese. Like ooey gooey cheese or sour cream or something.
There's nachos on the packet.
Well, I'm just saying in America, nachos are considered like, chips that have like nacho cheese on them. Otherwise,
yeah, I don't like dipping them and stuff, man.
So he's just eating a bag of chips. That's what he's saying.
I got a mustache, bro.
We got Laser Wolf who says, "What do you know about improvements to cloud saves? It took me 30 minutes to sync my save of Outer Worlds 2 from my PC to my Xbox. On Steam, there's a very clear synchronized cloud save status, and Xbox really needs to improve it if they want Play Anywhere to be popular."
So they did say, I think, in the Xbox Ally roadmap that the cloud save sync indicator is coming next year. There are some like hooks that have been shown off. That sort of in the Xbox ecosystem, the Xbox operating system on console, there are some like UI elements that have been showing up there. So yeah, we should get it hopefully early next year. There's a big update coming for the Xbox Ally early next year, which is going to make it, going to make the docking experience better. So the idea is, you're getting trolled in chat, right?
About what?
You pronounced tortilla wrong.
Whatever. I pronounce a lot of names wrong.
Tortilla.
Tortilla.
Right, Donataka says, Rand, that was the whitest pronunciation of tortilla I've ever.
Well, I am white, so tortilla is tortilla.
Yeah. Tortilla.
You know me, man. I say things wrong all the time.
Yeah.
People know what I mean, though. I don't say like you, like nachos. In my mind, I'm thinking Jez is laying in bed with all these chips covered in nacho cheese sauce. I'm like, how is he playing this thing? But no, you're just like, actually, I'm just eating the chips. And I'm like, oh, so they're not nachos.
We don't call them chips, man. Chips are potatoes, like fries.
No, still. I don't know why everybody's ganging up on me. You should be ganging up on Jez for calling that stuff nachos.
It says nachos on the packet, man. God damn it. Ninja Nurse says, Rand, say Massachusetts.
Massachusetts.
Is that?
Massachusetts. Massachusetts. Hey, look, you want to make fun of my how many times I tell this story? I was in speech therapy as a kid for like 5 years, okay?
Yeah, we know.
Speaking English, don't come easy to me, okay? I had a lot of problems. You wouldn't make fun of someone with a disability, would you? Not very nice of everybody in chat.
Teresa says, how does Rand say quesadilla?
Quesadilla.
You probably says quesadilla.
Quesadilla. Give me that quesadilla.
Oh, speaking of quesadilla, we have Taco Bell in the UK now. We have Taco Bell in the UK, and I had Taco Bell in the UK for the first time.
Yeah, what'd you think?
I thought it was absolutely fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
However, I had to immediately go to the bathroom after I had it.
Yeah, it'll go in one way, out the other.
Yeah. So like I'm sitting there wondering like, is that good for dieting? Because it goes through your system so quick that do you actually absorb any of the calories? I'm not a scientist, but I don't know. But I loved it. It was delicious. In fact, I might order one after this show's finished. But oh yeah, that's a tangent for you there.
Mm-hmm. We got Lee Sanders, who says, now we know where GTA lies with the 19/11 date. Where do you think Xbox will lay out their games for this year? My take is May is Fable, September is Halo, November, Forza Horizon. I think having Forza near GTA won't hurt the game as much. Two different franchises, but November is a big date for Xbox, so I can see them dropping a bollock and putting Halo out then. Well, Forza's coming out early in the year. I think it's coming out like April, May. Fable, who knows? We haven't heard a thing about Fable since they delayed it. In my mind, that's a fall game, and so's Halo and Gears. But we were trying to structure out Xbox's fall this year. We were like, well, maybe Outer Worlds in September and Ninja Gaiden 4 is October, and then they just all put all the games in 1 week. So sometimes it's like, hey, when's the game going to be finished? But, Fable being in September, maybe you could do something like Fable early September, Gears late September, Halo, October, Call of Duty late October, and then you can let GTA have all of its juice in November. But Forza Horizon 5, I think, will be in the first half of the year. Oh, we got a huge paragraph here. Huge things here. Okay. Ooh. We got Google Lens, who says, this post is meant for the 1024 show, but Rand was sick. I did post it the day before the day or something like that of the end of my sub, so here it is. Just remember, it's from that new that was like 2 weeks ago. Hi, guys. It seems that Xbox is dead for the 800th time, but this time it seems worse than some of the others. This feels like we want more, even if the expectations are out of control. I know you are making 20%, but you need 30%. I assume it would be more like an overall 30%, which I think it is. It's like 30% for the division, right, Jez? Not like each individual thing.
I mean, to be honest,
30%.
In my research, I've heard the 30% number ain't actually that high. So let's assume for the sake of argument that it is.
Like some are 20s, some are 40, but the overall 30% for Xbox, which is insane. If they were PlayStation, where they're the default console where people buy, but no matter what, and they are in first place, then maybe 30% is still crazy. I finished Keeper and really liked it. Some people are questioning the no marketing, but Rand was right about no marketing and word of mouth. But with this recent change, which is not recent, we just know about it now. I would like to think that things like Keeper exist because they're cheap to make, relatively speaking, and the marketing being non-existent is part of making it on a budget, which is good. And what would the marketing be anyways? You are a lighthouse, and it is stunning and weird. That is all you would really need. So I think word of mouth is the best for this game anyways. I can't wait for you to play it, Rand. And we all know Jez does not finish games, wink. Even when they are only 6 hours long. So with how cheap Double Fine is relatively to everything else, and with the history of games they have in their back catalog, Double Fine is 25 years old, I think they'll be fine. Also, with the Xbox interlocking studios, there are things Double Fine can do creatively that can help other Xbox studios. The Outer World 2 directors get help from Double Fine and others. As you guys probably talked about, the lineup the line must go up, but where does it end? As long as CEOs' fiduciary duties to shareholders are the legal obligations to act in their best interests and are primarily based on the duties of care, loyalty, and good faith, are a thing, then they have to keep that in mind no matter what. But there has to be an end point, right? There are only a limited number of people on the planet, and with that, a limited number of money. So speaking about the physical possibility, it will not be possible to forever line go up. These big companies are the biggest in the world, so they do keep going up, but it can't be like that indefinitely. Do you think the laws have to change for the fiduciary duties to make the CEO not destroy their own companies for infinite money? Or is it just a problem of late-stage capitalism in general? What is going on in the political climate now? This will not be addressed for a long time, but do you think it will ever just for the impossibility of infinite growth? I doubt there's going to be any changes for that unless like the world is on the brink of being destroyed by late-stage capitalism or whatever.
there will never be a change to this, because even in a world where like it causes an entire company to go out of business, that is by design. So like Microsoft, let's just imagine a cataclysmic scenario where Microsoft just with their fiduciary responsibilities puts themselves in a position where they piss off customers so much, and then a competitor comes along at the right time, the right place, and takes Microsoft's entire business over the course of a couple of years. It's happened before. Happened to companies like Nokia, where Nokia had complete market domination, and then it pretty much vanished overnight when a competitor came along with a much better product, and the Nokia was too slow to pivot. It's by design. So in a universe where that company shrinks, another company grows. So there is still infinite growth. It's just not growth for you anymore. It's growth for someone else. So like right now, like my company is suffering because of AI, but it's to OpenAI's benefit. So OpenAI grows in a universe where they're taking from me. So it's still infinite growth. It's just infinite chaos on the back of that, right? So it is by design an issue of late stage capitalism. So yeah, it's not going to change. It's never going to change.
Way more crises and less Double Fine this question than my others, but hope you like Keeper when you play it. I did. Rand, just don't skip over the other games coming out. I have a good night for you too. One more thing, when you guys mentioned Kiln on one of the items, times you acted like everyone knows this. When Kiln was in the rumor mill a few years ago, I just assumed it was people digging up old footage of the Amnesia Fortnite version of Kiln, and that's what the rumors were about, and not making up of the full game, so that was my bad. Is it hard to hear about Double Fine because they're small and light and the rumors don't get out, or do you guys just not talk about them much in general? Have a nice night, guys. Well, I mean, Double Fine, there wasn't much reason to talk about Double Fine in the years after Psychonauts 2. Like, you talk about Psychonauts 2 and how great it was. One of my favorite games of this generation, but they essentially went quiet for the next 4 years. And yeah, you hear about like rumors that they're doing, they're working on 2 games, or they're all, like their own new IP. They're not based on anything. But with Double Fine the way they are and how creative they are, it's like you have no idea what it could be. And who could have put a game where you play as a lighthouse as a potential? Like, that's not something you guess, and that's just something like someone tells you, and like, if I ever came on here and said, hey, I think Double Fine's next game, what if you played as a lighthouse? Like, with that specific of information, you would know that like I had known something. So like Double Fine is so creative and so weird that it's kind of like, what's there to really, at least with like Gears and Halo, you sort of know the direction they're going to go and how they are, or like what id could make, or some of these other studios, because they make things that are standard. And I don't want to use standard as a bad word, but they make, I guess standard's the right word for it. It's like they make games that they're good at making, and they make it to how people expect it. Where like Double Fine, they're just creative geniuses, and they kind of got to work within the budgets of, like, you're not going to give Double Fine $100 million to make a game. So you'll give them $10 million or something, and they can come up with something super creative that fits, that sates their creative juices. So it's really hard to talk about a studio like that because there's no basis of speculation, because they could make anything. Like, creativity is the limit. So when you talk about Kiln and it being the multiplayer game, even that, you're like, what does a multiplayer game from Double Fine even look like? You don't know. So it's difficult to talk about a studio that small that takes that amount of time in between releases. With other studios, like you look at Machine Games, it's like, well, we know what Wolfenstein is and how the Wolfenstein games are and what maybe they could go. And then even then they surprise with Indiana Jones, and there's like, oh, well, we know what Machine Games use. And Indiana Jones is kind of like, well, it's Wolfenstein, but Indiana Jones, more melee than guns. And then you think about their next project, and it's like, well, man, Indiana Jones 2 could look like this. But, what is the next Double Fine game is? I don't know. I mean, I think you talked about Kiln at one point about the multiplayer thing, but even you were like, I have no idea what it.
Yeah.
You just hear rumors about something.
bro, I saw Keeper at Gamescom, and I still didn't really know how to describe it. You
Yeah,
know?
it's a game where
But
you go around as a lighthouse. I mean,
yeah, interactive art project, I suppose. But like, you kind of mentioned it. Like, Double Fine is a much cheaper studio. So I don't, and also they do have a back catalog of strong games. They do have a fan base, and they do have people that will show up for each and every one of their games. You know, it's they're operating as an indie. They're not expected to deliver 30%, I don't think. It's like New Blood Interactive, which I never heard of. So like I did an interview with New Blood Interactive recently, and I discovered like an entire fan base around this very, very small studio that make very retro PS1 style graphic games that sort of really lean in to what their fans want, which is retro styled everything. They publish super retro games, and they've got a fan base, and they do really well for themselves. You know, Dusk is fantastic. If you haven't played Dusk, if you like boomer shooters, like they started the entire boomer shooter kind of trend, and I didn't know that either. But I'd never heard of these guys. So like in this big universe of like mega companies and Fortnites and stuff like that, there is still room for smaller companies like Double Fine to exist and hopefully thrive within that universe. And I think that's part of the why the game wasn't marketed that hard. Marketing costs money, which would hurt the margins that Double Fine could deliver with its games. They do have a back catalog of games that is very strong, and you know, I suppose like as long as they run the business responsibly, as in like, you know, don't make games that cost a shitload of money and they aren't a drain on resources. I think Microsoft will be happy to accept a lower margin from them as long as they're not and as long as they're not being a huge drain on resources, which I don't think they are. I think they're profitable. They're just very small. I don't think it's like a Perfect Dark situation where the initiative had tons of money pumped into it, tons of money, and was never going to see that money again, probably, you know?
mm.
I think Double Fine was on a good footing when they acquired them, straight up. So
We have
I'm not worried about Double Fine.
John, who says, "Hey guys, this is a question for Jez. Jez, you write a lot of articles on Xbox, which then feed a lot of content creators ad revenue. Have you never thought about a simultaneous YouTube video being posted at the same time as your article hits so that you or Windows Central could benefit from some of this ad revenue? It feels to me like you put the hard yards in researching and even writing the article, then others make money off your hard work."
John, you're absolutely right. And I actually did do that for the cloud gaming stuff I did recently. But the algorithm's going to algorithm at the end of the day. My cloud gaming video for the article like did way less traffic than the article itself, even though the video is embedded in the article. I think like I'd have to like really work on that algorithmically to build that audience up. But it's also like it's a ton of extra work for not much material benefit. So like getting 6,000 views on that YouTube video
It's not a lot of
made
money.
such little money. No,
It's almost
it's
not even
like
worth doing at that point.
it's almost it's yeah, it's not even worth doing it at that point. So like if I kept doing that for maybe 2 years and I did that every week, where I did an editorial and a video every week, maybe then it would be worth the money. But it wouldn't be worth the money for me. It'd be worth the money for Future because I get paid the same either way. You know, so it's kind of like it's a weird thing in publishing, and you've probably heard this phrase before, the pivot to video, where it's like companies want to have video, but they don't want to invest in video because it takes time to build up that algorithm. So like all the extra time that I spend trying to build up that for Future would be so much extra work for me, but I wouldn't get paid any extra. I could just write articles instead. So that's kind of like why I don't really do it generally. I only do it if it's something that I think is going to add a lot of value to the article. And like when you're talking about cloud gaming, you kind of have to show it. You kind of have to show it. Like I can't just write about cloud gaming and say like, yeah, cloud gaming is great. Here's some screenshots of cloud gaming. You got to show it running live on a video. So that's why I did it for that one. If I ever went solo, independent, like Destin Legary and some other people that I'm very jealous of, then yeah, I would write an article for the Patreon and then put a video there on the Patreon as well, because then you guys would be rewarding me directly. But at the moment, like, for me to make a video, all that does is create a ton of extra work for me without actually giving me any personal benefit and only benefit in future. And then they could sack me, and then the algorithm that I built up for them stays with them and doesn't come with me. So it's weird, right? It's a weird kind of thing. But yeah, I do want to do more video, but at the same time, it's like something I would probably do at the weekend on my own channel. I need to discuss with Future and just be like, yeah, I want to do videos, but it needs to be worth my time. And I'll do it on my own time at the weekend, but can I put my videos into my articles that I post on Windows Central? Like, would they agree with that? I don't know. I suppose I could have the conversation, but something to talk about.
We got Chris M, who says, "Hey, gents. Hope you both had a solid week. Jez, this one's more for you. Recently, I heard a sports podcast discussing the current fan backlash against the WWE, and they focused on attendance going down across the board. Lower viewership, in part because the U.S., at least some of it's behind the $30 ESPN app, and the fact that the 2027 WrestleMania was sent to Saudi, highlighting the issue of TKO WWE pricing out families that have long supported them. The discussion felt very similar to discussions that are often had about Microsoft, how Microsoft is handling the Xbox division. My question is whether you think these are outliers based on two companies in Microsoft and TKO who made large acquisitions and need to recoup some of that money quickly, or if we look at the broader scope of things and see where other mergers are in the works and private equity is being involved in everything from college sports to EA, should we be concerned that these types of tactics being used by TKO and Microsoft may become more widespread across all aspects of our economy? Hope you both have a great show and a fantastic weekend."
Well, this is why America's healthcare system is so broken, because you allowed private investment into people's health. So it's like line goes up even at the cost of people's lives in that situation. It's late stage capitalism across the board, right? I think the real issue is when you start privatizing things like healthcare, water systems, and things that like affect people's health and their lives. I suppose it's less of an issue when it's like just entertainment, right? But this is a feature of the system we live in, It's good and bad. There's benefits and obviously downsides. Like the good thing is like someone who makes a unique product and makes a unique company can then sell that company and get heavily rewarded for it. That's the American dream, right? In essence. But the problem is we've got to a point now where there's so much money and wealth concentrated amongst a very few individuals and then companies that it's like they just sort of vacuum up everything, and like they invest even in smaller companies to stop them ever getting to that kind of level where it's become transparent. It's become so transparent when shareholders are involved in anything, because like I talked about earlier, the quarterly thought process of all this kind of stuff is what's causing this, because people buy for a quarter and then they sell for a quarter and they don't really think about the long term ramifications of some of this stuff. Right. So, but if Microsoft and these other companies, break their companies because they cater too hard to shareholders, that's when competition is important. That's the role competition is supposed to play. So AEW, their role is supposed to be steal some of WWE's market share to make TKO more competitive. But it's like, it's kind of very hard to do. But like more and more people are just tuning out WWE. Like I watched a video from Maven on YouTube. Maven's become a YouTuber now. And he put out a video explaining why he doesn't watch WWE anymore. And he touched on a lot of this stuff where it's just like, it's so corporate now. There's ads in the ring. They don't really spend any money on doing like crazy sort of soap opera segments anymore. There's no prop work done, and there's no everything is super low budget now. All the promos are in the ring. There's very, very rarely any sort of serious backstage stuff. Like they used to They used to smash things up and do all kinds of crazy shit back in the day before TKO. And now it's like budget this, budget that. Everything's super, super budget. No risk involved whatsoever. You know, there's no, like, the passion for the product is clearly been extracted. And there's a disconnect between the customer and the shareholder and then the product itself, right? And Microsoft is sort of showing that sort of weird line as well. But I suppose in Microsoft's case is they're so diversified that any one single one of their businesses could materially treat their customers bad and it wouldn't hurt their bottom line because they've become such a key part of global communications infrastructure. They've kind of become too big to fail, you know. So that means we get screwed over, which is why I've always defended Phil Spencer, because I know for a fact if they got rid of Phil, they would put a yes man in charge, and then you'd see it just get even worse. So the only reason in my mind we're even getting a next gen system is because Phil has the internal political clout and the internal sort of political know-how to explain why this might still be a good idea. Because I think without Phil, you don't see next gen hardware. I think a lot of the stuff that is good about Xbox ecosystem, like Xbox Play Anywhere and all that kind of stuff, I don't think we see any of that shit. I think we just see a very sort of aggressive hollowing out of whatever value they can extract quarter over quarter and then mothballing the whole thing. So like when people call for Phil to be fired and for someone else to come in, I'm just sitting there thinking, you really want a yes man in charge? Because that's what you're going to get. That's what you're going to get, man, without Phil, is a yes man. But I don't know. It's I do see the parallels between WWE and Xbox. It's hard not to, man.
Yep. CJ says, "Hey gents, this month I celebrate 3 years of being a patron on Xbox 2. Thanks for the hard work you guys put in. Also, Jez, any word on the next wave of Ally stock in the UK?" Well, thank you, CJ, for supporting us on Patreon for 3 years. That's amazing.
CJ, thank you so much, man. The stock situation with the Xbox Ally in the UK is absolutely crazy.
So what is the stock situation? Is it good or is it bad? Like, what's up?
It's bad. It's all sold out.
So like it's all sold out. Okay.
Yeah, and Curry's will get like 15 minutes of stock on a random day during the week, and maybe they get like, I don't know, say they get 20 units in, and instead of like building up the stock and then saying like, okay, we're gonna have a ton of stock on this day, they just sort of drip feeding it out. So like you have to be like lightning fast to get a unit in the UK right now. I'll try and find out more about what's going on with the Xbox Ally stock, but I will say that the demand is vastly outstripped their predictions, evidently, for the Xbox Ally X. I think the Xbox Ally S, I call it the S, it's still in stock pretty well, but it's the X that people want for obvious reasons. These are enthusiast devices. I don't know why they thought like people were going to flock to buy the S model.
I don't know why either. We have Chris, who says, "Hey guys, happy to be back in the Xbox 2 crew again on Patreon." Well, thank you, Chris. After the success of Arc Raiders, is the extraction shooter genre finally gaining momentum where more games can release and be successful, or is this more of a flash in the pan moment and isolated to Arc Raiders itself? That's a good question. I didn't really bring that up during the Arc Raiders discussion, so I'm happy you did, because me and my friends actually talked about this last night, Jez.
Oh.
We said, okay, because the extraction genre itself has been a hardcore, like, Tarkov exists on PC, but it's really, really hardcore, right? Hasn't come to console yet. Oh, I do think it will eventually. So, like, the extraction shooter genre hasn't really had its moment on console, which is why Arc Raiders is doing so well on PC, because it kind of exists on PC, right? And so I'm thinking, okay, Arc Raiders is definitely more casual than Tarkov, and it definitely seems quite popular. So does that make... Because then the next game I was thinking about was Marathon. Because Marathon was supposed to come out originally before Arc, and a lot of people didn't like it, and it got delayed. So does Arc Raiders expanding like people's perceptions of the extraction genre and getting people used to it and what it is and how exciting it can be, does that help the genre move forward? Specifically, does that help Marathon? Because because Marathon now could come in and people might be used to the extraction shooter thanks to Arc Raiders, and are we looking at a situation where Marathon would have been DOA if it came out before, but now that it's come out after and the genre has been more popularized due to the casual nature of Arc Raiders versus Tarkov, and now all of a sudden like Marathon might be a success and the industry sees like, oh, there's potential there. It's not a battle, so more sort of extraction shooters potentially get greenlit. I don't know. We were thinking about that, and I don't know because I didn't play Marathon, so I don't know how. So it's like one of those things where it's like I could see Marathon benefiting from it, but also it has to be good though, right?
I think Arc Raiders will potentially it'll open up people to the concept of what an extraction shooter is. So like when you start mainstreaming it and be like, oh, this is like, it becomes easier to market your game because you can be like, oh, this is like Arc Raiders, but instead of fighting robots, you play as a crab and you're fighting giant octopuses or something. I don't know. That'd be cool. Can you imagine an extraction shooter where you play as like a sea animal or something?
Hey, go ahead and make it.
I'll go and make it. But yeah, I do think Arc Raiders will probably help other shooters because people will get tired of Arc Raiders and they'll be like,
I'm sure.
I want Arc Raiders, but I want something slightly different. Which is like why people buy Call of Duty every year. It's like, I want Call of Duty, but slightly different. Okay, well, here's a new Call of Duty that's slightly different. I think that will happen for Extraction as well, potentially. I think Delta Force has also helped this happen a little bit.
Yeah.
Like we don't really talk about Delta Force much, but it's helped. I think Delta Force has probably helped Arc Raiders because Delta Force is obviously like free to play kind of thing, and Arc Raiders is a premium game. So it's like if I don't like the free to playness of Delta Force, then Arc Raiders is a better option, more contained, more PUBG like, So I do think there's probably opportunities for something other than Arc Raiders to find.
It reminds me of.
We'll see.
It reminds me of the Battle Royale explosion, right? Because Battle Royale, like PUBG, was on PC and it was big, and then it came to the console and got even bigger. And then Fortnite, remember Fortnite took it, and then PUBG sued Fortnite because you remember all that drama, right?
Oh yeah,
because Fortnite was the Save the World thing. It didn't have Battle Royale, and then they made Battle Royale, and then Fortnite became bigger, and then you had the big Battle Royale explosion. Apex Legends came, Warzone came. Well, it wasn't Warzone first; it was Blackout with Black Ops, right? You had that big explosion, but it took the first one. It took like that, where it's like, yeah, Tarkov has been on PC for a bit, but it's like super hardcore, probably too hardcore for most people. But here's like the first real kind of casual-ish. But this is, I would say, like Tarkov was the PUBG to Arc Raiders Fortnite, where PUBG was more hardcore-ish, right? It didn't have the shooting was definitely more tactical, bullet drop, all those sort of things, and then Fortnite kind of was the more casual version, where it's the colorful stuff and super arcadey and all those sort of things. And I kind of look at it like, well, maybe you have a similar situation here where Arc is just that explosion that you need, and then the next games that come afterwards are where it really blows up the genre kind of in a way. I mean, we'll see. Maybe Marathon's just going to suck, and people play it and they're like, screw this. But I did just see Arc Raiders just set a new Steam record for themselves today. So still growing on its second weekend.
That's good.
Outpacing its previous number. So let's see. We got iMike Zero says, "Hey Rand and Jez, with GTA 6 getting delayed until November, what games from Nintendo or PC could stand a chance against the Juggernaut and feed gamers on that platform? Would a new 3D Mario or Zelda be hindered? Are there any true PC exclusives launching next year that will keep PC gamers happy as they are left out? I'm not on the GTA 6 hype train, so I will be playing anything else at the time. My backlog can use the breathing time that GTA 6 will create for other releases." Yeah, I mean, so GTA is not coming to
Mm.
Switch that we know of, and it's
Well,
not going to be on PC. So
I don't think PC gamers are going to rush out buying consoles in huge amounts. I mean, there's so much content on PC. You never know what's going to blow up out of nowhere. Like
yep.
that game Megabonk, for example, it just blew up out of nowhere. It's kind of like how Steam works these days. It's like games without any marketing just come out and blow up, you know. Um, I don't know if would Nintendo be impacted? I think like Nintendo Switch are often companion consoles. I don't think many people except Don Otaku actually use the Switch as their main console because, you know, it's a toy for little kids, right? So oh man, I can't resist. Don Otaku, I'm so sorry, man. I'm fully joking, right? But no, genuinely, like the Switch, I think a lot of Switch owners, a huge portion of Switch owners are also PlayStation owners, also Xbox owners, because historically, a lot of the big AAA games have skipped Switch because it wasn't powerful enough, right? So I don't think Nintendo really I don't think Nintendo really needs to worry about Grand Theft Auto because they'll just weave their releases around it, you know. Um, so like that I think they just kind of accept that in a universe where they don't have certain games like Call of Duty or whatever, that these things happen. But you know, I do know that obviously Switch is getting Call of Duty eventually. So maybe for Switch people, they play Call of Duty, and you know, for the people that don't have access to another device and Switch is their only device, maybe they play Call of Duty that year instead. You know, um, but I don't think PC, I don't think Steam blinks in the face of GTA. Do you think GTA will impact Roblox? That's a more interesting question.
No, they'll create their own GTA within Roblox.
There's probably already 10 of them already.
Yeah. No,
I've never played Roblox. Should we play it for research? I feel like I should play it.
I
for
mean,
research.
I played it before. I still think you won't see if you're trying to launch a game, whether it's even on PC or Switch too. You're just gonna avoid that because all the air in the room will be stolen by GTA 6. Even though it's not launching on PC, plenty of people who are on PC are probably gonna play it on console because they don't want to miss out on the experience. And if you have a game launching, nobody's gonna cover it. It's just basically a void. Anything The only thing people are going to want to talk about and cover is GTA. So you're
the
already
only
missing
thing that
out
can
on.
stand up to. Sorry, go on.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
See, sometimes like this is one of the issues with like not being on camera, Rand. That there's like a slight delay, and I think, oh, Rand's going to stop talking now, but I can't tell because you're not on camera. So maybe we should start going on camera. But I was going to say the only game that can really truly stand up to GTA is World of Warcraft, bro.
Moving on. Yeah. Anyways, moving on. Good old Conwood. We're not even gonna dignify that with a response. Good old Conwood. It says, "Hello, Rand and Jez. Rand, you were sick over Halloween. Did you answer the door to trick or treaters? No, I didn't actually have any. So no trick or treaters here.
We didn't have any.
We are on a corner house, and people do not come to the corner house. Also, did you enjoy Halloween when you were younger?
What's a corner house?
No, because corner house.
What? Why can't you trick or treat at a corner house?
Because when you go to a corner, so you have a whole bunch of houses in a line, right? And you just go up to them, go up to them, go up to them. But the end of the block, the house is on the corner, so people don't make that turn to come to that house. They just immediately go across the street to then continue going to all the houses down in the line. So they skip our house.
Damn.
That's how it's always been. We barely get anybody here. So, yeah. I enjoyed Halloween as a kid. Of course. Who doesn't? Who doesn't like getting free candy? Who doesn't like dressing up as Freddy Krueger, huh? That's what I used to dress up as. Jez, Halloween in Britain is only an excuse for adults to dress up in costume and go to parties. No childhood sentimentality, just impure hedonism.
That is where you're wrong, good old Collingwood. And I thought like you previously, right? Because my town is very multicultural, right? and I live in South Warsaw in England. And my town is like, there's a lot of religious people who live around here, and they don't like Halloween. So I grew up in this part of my town, which is not a very big town. It's like 300,000 people, something like that. I grew up thinking, oh, we don't really do Halloween in this town, right? Because there's so many religious people, disproportionate amount of religious people where I live. However, I spent Halloween with Jen in North Warsaw, which is notably less religious. And I had no idea that even in my tiny town, that there actually is a huge amount of people who trick or treat with their little kids in the northern part of my town. So I went out with Jen. I wore a scary bunny mask and I had a fake machete. And we ran around scaring little kids, tons of little kids, all doing trick or treating. Tons of families, loads of houses done up. I couldn't believe it. It was like Hocus Pocus, a movie. So I think there are pockets of Halloween in Britain. I think it just very depends on if that local neighborhood kind of does it traditionally, or if they don't do it traditionally. Because even within my town, I couldn't believe it. Like, I had no idea that there was a part of my town where this happened. But yeah, I think most generally speaking, it is for adults and students to wear very skimpy amounts of clothes and then go and get absolutely hammered. I think that is generally true.
We have Omen, who says Happy Friday. If Xbox is planning to move both console and ROG Ally to the same OS, what's going to happen to games like ESO and Fallout 76 that have Xbox and PC clients separated? Is Microsoft going to require they do server merges?
That's a good question. Well, I think we've sort of seen the first retroactive solution to some of this stuff. So like Fallout 4 is going to get Xbox Play Anywhere support post retroactively. But that means previous PC version saves will no longer work on the PC client. So the PC client's going to be mothballed. It's kind of like what they did with Minecraft and the Bedrock edition. The Java edition still exists, but then there's a Bedrock edition, which is the one that's really getting the most love and attention, upgrades and all that kind of stuff. So I do think that if they do, I suppose there are, like, right now thinking about what happens to games like ESO and Fallout 76 and stuff like that. Do they remain separated, or do they do server merging and stuff like that? It's really hard to say. It's a really good question. I think, like, in the case of Fallout 76, you might just see, like, I've heard rumors that they were working towards retroactively brute forcing XPA and, like, sort of merging the code bases or something. But I don't know if that's possible or if it's just too much work. But yeah, I honestly don't know how they'll do it. I suppose it'll be a patchwork of solutions. I suppose some games will just be separately. Some of them will just be like, yeah, okay, this is playing well now, but you have to make a new character. And this version's going to be sunset. You know, I could see that happening. Or maybe what really happens is we get a Fallout 77 on the new Bethesda engine, which replaces Fallout 76 entirely. I don't know. We'll see, man.
Let's see if that's all the questions we have. Yep.
I think it is.
I think I got everything. We have, let's see here. Zatanna says, Phil said 2026 be big GTA 6 Xbox anniversary. I mean, well, now it falls into that time frame, doesn't it? Yeah.
Sure does.
We have Champagne Supernova, Deep Rock Galactic Survivor, and the Xbox ROG Ally X, and the shitter equals perfection. Thanks for the great show, boys. That sounds like something you should get on, Jez. That game, the ROG Ally.
Yeah, Deep Rock Galactic. I've heard Deep Rock Galactic Survivors is really good. I might install it now. But I just got so much to play. I'm really enjoying Dragon Quest at the moment.
I can't wait to play Arc Raiders tonight. Been looking forward to playing it all day. Killing some people, taking their loot. You know, it has the voice chat stuff. So like, you know, you can have the mic pick up your stuff, and it's kind of funny, especially when you get killed. We have Purple Haze, who says, do you think a speedster-like game like Flash would be successful if it had nothing to do with DC? it was original IP. Do you think the industry is craving for something like that? Like a speedster game in general, is the industry craving for something like that? I don't really think it is.
Isn't Sonic that?
I guess you could say Sonic is like that in some ways, but I'm not sure. I mean, I particularly would like a Flash game, but if we're talking about one that's not based on original IP, I don't think the industry is like demanding it, but maybe it could be fun. One of the things with Dispatch, Jez, I don't know. Do you know anything about Dispatch? It's a Telltale-like game, but it's
Yeah, I've heard a
like
lot about it.
superheroes, but not licensed IP. So they're all like it's all made up superheroes and stuff. And it seems to have done pretty well. They announced 1 million sales in 10 days. So we've seen even like with something like Invincible, where they made up superheroes and how well that's done with the graphic novels and the TV show and stuff. There is something to be said for, you know, a universe and characters that are original that someone makes up. So I think you certainly could make a superhero game that's a speedster that's not based on any existing IP. The problem is it'd probably be expensive if it needs to be done right. I mean, sure, maybe you could do it on a AAA budget or a AA budget or a single A budget, but for something like that, it probably is going to spend a lot of money. And unfortunately, you spend a lot of money, you're not taking a lot of risks because you need to mitigate how much you could potentially lose. So it's like a tougher sell. So maybe it works better in something like Dispatch, where it's like you could have a speedster, but it's more based around like dialogue choices than actual like gameplay or whatever, you know? I just don't really. I also sort of think like, what would the gameplay be of a game where you run super fast? How would that even work? You know, Sonic is what, just running fast through loop-de-loops and collecting rings and, you know, locking on to enemies. Does that work for a Flash game? Or someone who runs super fast in like a city? I'm not sure.
It's kind of difficult technologically, I suppose, or like even from a gameplay perspective.
Yeah.
Running
We have
around at
Baldy
the
McDose
speed
here
of
says,
sound.
Jez, is Monster Hunter Stories 1, 2, and 3 Xbox Play Anywhere?
Yes, they are. They are indeed.
Aren't they coming out soon?
Yeah. Monster Hunter Stories coming out in the next couple of weeks, I think. Monster Hunter Stories 3 is launching next spring. So there. Maybe GTA wanted to avoid Monster Hunter Stories 3.
Yeah,
man.
maybe. You know, interesting. We were talking about this last night, but does it feel like the hype surrounding this year's Call of Duty is noticeably muted than years past?
Yeah, but Rand, we talked earlier about how social media is a bubble.
Sure. But I mean, but this year also saw the release of Arc Raiders and Battlefield 6, so people got their multiplayer fixing in already.
Yeah, but Rand, I think Call of Duty will still end up being this year's
No,
biggest game.
I'm not saying it wouldn't be. I'm just saying I've noticed a lack of promotion, shall we say, on it, or people talking about other things. And I think that has to do with
real, bro.
Battlefield and Arc being as good as they are. Really,
I think the Call of Duty devs have probably some of the hardest jobs in gaming. Keeping Call of Duty seeming fresh, and the amount of money and the stakes like involved in that is got to be tough. There's no other game that really does that annual full price release every single year. I think it's only Call of Duty, isn't it? I think that's
really,
like if you are like,
or
if you are like
the sports games, Madden, NBA.
yeah, I suppose the
FIFA,
sports
so.
games. But if you're like at a high level, you don't treat Call of Duty like a sports game though. Like sports games, just like they're just the same game, but with the new characters or whatever, the new characters, the new players, the player updates, and the licensing. Whereas like Call of Duty has to be at least superficially different every year with new maps and all that kind of shit. That's the hardest fucking job in the world, I think, in gaming, or one of the hardest. So I do wonder if, but I honestly remember wondering this like 10 years ago. When will people get fed up of Call of Duty? And we're still sitting here talking about it, man. So maybe it's a ritual, bro.
It is.
It's a ritual.
And with that, the ritual is to end the show. before this 4 hours come out. It's funny. I said to Jazz like, "Hey, we just did a show on Monday. Shouldn't be that long of a show today." Well, almost 4 hours.
Yeah.
But that's usually
It's
because
always
Jazz
goes
just
over.
kind of just goes on these tangents sometimes, Probably.
Yeah, me got a tangent.
Yeah, you. Anyways, I got some Mark Raiders to play. Hope everybody has a great weekend. We have Xbox 2+1 on Tuesday, so be on the lookout for that in your emails. And thank you for hanging out with us. Thank you for listening live here on YouTube or later on Spotify and iTunes. If you're on Spotify, the Spotify rap stuff is starting up soon, isn't it? Or it has already happened or something.
Oh yeah. It's coming soon, I think.
Yes.
Oh shit, you reminded me. I need to do something for our Spotify rap.
There we go. So, with that said, hope everybody has a good rest of the day, and we will see you on Tuesday, and then for Friday. So keep it gaming, everybody.
Will.
Later.
Rock and roll, baby. Bye.